Alright. We are live. So what's up guys? It's me, Nick. Currently I'm using a V-tier model to kinda show you guys how I've been feeling as of late, and I'll be real, I haven't been doing well at all. And the reason why my friend Mel, aka Agape Amy, is here is just so I don't go off the deep end, and also to help clarify some things. But I will say this: I'm not happy. I'm I'm not happy in the slightest. Um, this whole thing, to those that are not aware, this whole thing has been going on for the past 6+ years now. And I believe there's enough information out there to kind of show that something needs to be said. As you all are probably aware, I had someone on the channel by the name of Fleetway Supersonic. They go by many names. They go by Uni, they go by Ab City, they go by Gray. Oh yeah. I know y'all in the chat are very surprised about that. But it would appear that after some information that was sent to me by acquaintances of mine, that I even said that if I find out about this regarding a specific thing related to me, I would waste no time saying something about it. And there's also another reason why I'm making this. There are people that have said their piece about the situation. There are people that have, expressed their frustrations about it all. There are people that have provided their own set of evidence and everything like that of the sort. And the thing is that usually it falls on deaf ears. Like, at the end of the day, these people, these victims, don't have a voice. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm not only here to set the record for myself, but for the victims. The victims that were groomed by this individual. But in order to understand all that, I'm going to cover my bases. I'm going to cover my side of the story when it comes to my experiences with Uni and everything in between. So, in order to understand all this, we gotta go back. We gotta go back to 2020. 2020 was the year, or probably the year before, that I, alongside SSJ Blake, met this individual. First it was Blake, then he introduced me to her, and then we started our friendship from there. I was in the process of literally finishing Sonic Multiverse Season 1. But I was also in the process of making Sonic Multiverse Season 1.5. During that time, I decided to cancel that season. But there is going to be a point where I do end up bringing that back, but it's not about that right now. by the time season 1.5 was basically canceled, that was when like, me and Blake basically reconnected, and I invited him onto the series. And when he introduced me to Uni, I also invited her onto the series. I liked the whole portrayal. I liked her whole portrayal of the Fleetway character that she represented and everything like that. So I thought, you know what? Why not add her in? Oh boy, was I wrong. Over time, both Blake and Uni had continuous fights with each other. Not huge fights, but mild ones. Ones that require intense communication in order to get those situations resolved. It got to a point where she proceeded to, catch feelings for Blake. And I was encouraging it. I was encouraging that maybe those two would be cute together. And they ended up getting together. But it only lasted a couple weeks until they broke it off. And since then, after their relationship, their fights began to grow progressively worse and worse and worse. I stood out of all of them. They didn't want me, like, Blake didn't want me involved with their senseless arguing. So I left it alone. After I did, that's when Sonic Multiverse Season 2 ended. It got to a point where she started to grow a bit demanding, but also a bit of controlling as to her character, basically. I'm sorry if my English isn't bad. I'm, like, stressed about all of this. Don't worry, I got water on me. So after all that, after Season 2 was over, that's when I migrated over to VR chat, you know? Like, that's when the VR chat stuff started happening. I got me a headset, I raised enough money to do so, thanks to you guys. And the drama escalated to the point where Blake would nonstop being shit-talked by Uni herself in her server. Like, she kept bringing all of her fans into the situation when they had nothing to do with it. They just kept siding with her and siding with her and siding with her, despite the fact that they're literally kids themselves. Like, a huge majority of Uni's fan base were kids. Kids that didn't know any better. Kids that don't know how to look at situations from two sides. So, they were blindly siding with her. And not to mention that Uni also accused, like, Uni went as far as to put out some kind of vague post talking about how she, like how me and Blake supposedly doxed her on some live stream that I did. And was all on my channel. But we never recalled any live stream that we ever committed such a horrific crime. Like, I am heavily against doxing. Heavily against it. Even if the person turned out to be some kind of crazy criminal. Like, it's one thing if there are these, like, online investigators, such as Digital Override, or any of these other people, they were to do it, that's them. But me, I would never, ever do something like that. I would never, ever do something like that, ever. Then it gets to a point where I, myself, time just basically went on. We were still dealing with uni. And then by at least 2021 or 2022, I believe, I'm not quite sure, but myself, Blake, and one other person that was there with us, I'm not going to say their name because I don't think they want to be involved. But they were there, and it was alongside Uni and Melodia Valentine, one of Uni's biggest defenders. It got to a point where she literally admitted that the allegation about the doxing was actually fabricated by a fan of hers that was a child. They were a child themselves. Again, a person that did not know any better.
Thanks for the follow.
Which I can only assume that she like this child did not know the concept of doxing. And my friend that was there goes ahead and says that, like, they literally looked on my channel. Like, there's literally a website that you can literally go to check to see any deleted videos or live streams or anything of the sort, and you can literally watch those things. But get this. When they tried to look it up, there was nothing. There was no live stream of me supposedly doxing her. There was nothing. There was no evidence. Then she started spouting, that's when we reconciled. Blake and Uni settled their differences. I settled my differences with her. And then we became friends again. It did not last even a single month. To the point where this was when the Fleetway arc happened. When the Fleetway arc happened, I had a video made. The video, that being, the one about Multi and Brandy becoming Fleetways themselves. I'm sure you guys remember that video from way in the past. When I uploaded that video, I was actually tell Uni about it. Little did me and Blake know, she blocked us. She blocked us. She went ahead and blocked me, myself, and a couple others. Again, not going to say their names, because I don't want them involved. But they blocked us. We had somebody that was still friends with Uni to get us in a group call together and figure out what the hell was going on. Do you want to know the reason why she blocked us? Let me tell you guys. The reason why she blocked us was because we didn't ask her for permission. That was it. That was the reason why. We didn't ask her for permission to use a character that doesn't belong to her. Like, I don't... I was trying so hard not to laugh. Like, she was saying that we're supposed to let her know ahead of time of doing something like that, because it could supposedly be something that she wanted to be involved with, because it involved Fleetway as a whole. But I was like, you don't even own the character, though. You don't even own it. You don't own the character at all. So, what? We were all confused. And then comes a conversation that happened between myself, Blake, and Uni. In this conversation, she started to basically beg to be back into content with us. Even though that we were literally like a couple weeks in to reconciling. Now you see, when I reconcile with people such as Speedy Blue, I reconcile with people like, you know, Sailor Peace, and all these other people that I reconcile with because of my mistake. I didn't immediately say, I want to get back into making content with you guys. I didn't want that. I want to take my time. I want to take my time and actually earn that portion of their forgiveness, so that way we could start making content together again. And guess what? Look at me now! Back to making content with one of the best people that I've ever met. But anyway, it gets to a point where she basically throws myself and two other individuals alongside with me and Blake into a group DM conversation about how we're supposedly abandoning them over content, and because of the fact that we've been busy and all that stuff, that we suddenly abandoned those people. I clarified with them that, like, that's not the case. I've just been very busy and everything like that. And then Uni almost turned those two friends against us. So we had to literally get on VR chat, join a world with those two individuals that Uni dragged in for no reason, and then we had to clear the air. And we did. That is until we got into a world with the cream of the crop, Uni herself. She then goes, and instead of talking about the stuff regarding me, she instead throws that onto Blake. And talking about how I treat people like shit. We tried to clarify with her until she got aggressive and then left the world. Completely being a coward to the truth. And it just blows my mind. But anyway, so time goes on until you know, and during the time that I had reconciled with Uni the first time, I had to remind her that she needed to credit me for the reaction videos that she did regarding my stuff. She did not credit me at all. In fact, she even used the excuse that she's lazy to credit me. So during the time that I was, you know, doing my own thing and everything like that, it just... about in 2023, I believe. I'm not sure. I kind of lost count because this whole situation has been going on for so long. But at one point down the line, I decided, you know what? I'm going to copyright the stuff that she reacted to and refused to give credit for me for. Now, let it be known, guys, I don't care if you guys make reaction videos about my content. I don't care if you guys are reacting to it. More support for my series and everything like that, and it shows that you guys are actually dedicated to watching my stuff. But what I don't appreciate is the people that don't credit me. Because YouTube sends me emails saying that there's people that are stealing my content. Now, there is a lot of people on my list that have taken my stuff, but what I would do is I would take a step back. I would take a step back and hold on, let me look at this video. I click it, I go to the description and see if they credited me. If they credited me, they don't get struck. But if you don't, you will. It's part of YouTube's terms of service. Something that I'm abiding to. I'm the kind of guy that follows the rules. This is what I do. I always follow the rules. It's all in YouTube's TOS. That's all it's been about. So, I am the one who struck down her channel because she refused to abide by my policy of crediting me, which is something that she did not do. So, she suffered the consequences because of it. I am the one that did it. Because she did not credit me when I specifically told her multiple times to credit me. Blake wasn't the one to take down her channel. It was me. I did it on my own accord. Because she didn't credit me, I abided by YouTube's terms of service, and that's what I did. And you know, people would always say that, like, oh, it's fair use, fair use. It's always that bullshit excuse. If you respect someone's content and are making reaction videos out of it, credit them. Credit. But anyway. Then after a while, you know, that's when she made a whole live stream on somebody else's channel, basically coming after me. People that were defending me went into their chat and started to fight back against them. Mind you, I did not send those people. They did it on their own. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just so in my head right now. Anyway.
You can do this.
I know, I appreciate it. So, now, time goes on to where, where I was looking through my server and everything like that, and I got pinged by this guy named Mayito the Burrito, or just Mayito for short. I'm sure that there are people that were in my server at the time that saw that ping that said that Uni was thinking about stealing my series and supposedly making a rewrite out of it. And I didn't believe it at first. That is, until I saw the video. of Uni herself literally saying that she's going to take my series and rewrite it. But here's the thing, guys. In that video that Meito sent to me, do you want to know what this supposed rewrite was going to be about? I'm going to say this as clear as the driven snow. It was a high school AU. It was a high school AU. Had nothing to do with the multiverse. Had nothing to do with any of it. Just flat out a high school drama AU. Now, don't get me wrong. High school AUs are amazing. They're great. But it depends on the type of content that you're making a high school AU off of. Multiverse Sonic does not fit that area. Now, unless if I make a series about what Multiverse Sonic did when he went to school, that'd be understandable. But to to add the multiverse into a high school AU, that's stupid. It doesn't make sense. But that's not what pisses me off. What pisses me off is the fact that this person says that they're going to steal my content, my series, out of spite. People don't... I believe that she has... Like she literally says that, like, oh, Sonic Multiverse has so many messed up plot lines and everything like that. Do you know what I can admit wholeheartedly? I admit that maybe, just maybe, I could have made the series just a little bit better. A little bit better. But did you guys... I never told you guys this at all about myself, because I barely talk about myself on a personal level. But did you know, and I'm only going to keep this vague, did you know that the reason behind Multiverse Sonic's creation is based off of me, of what I went through growing up? In fact, I even said this to Uni herself. So, I'm not going to go into detail about that because that's too personal for me. But anyway. So, that was her excuse. Out of spite, and doing it because she saw a lot of stupid plot things that were in Sonic Multiverse that she wanted to quote-unquote fix. How are you going to fix a series when you're merging with a goddamn high school AU? How are you going to fix it? How? Anyway. Now, she wanted to make an entire channel based around this Multiverse Sonic rewrite. In fact, I'm gonna do this. I want you guys to take a look at these the screenshot right here, because I believe this is the only thing that I need. This might be the only thing that I need here. So let me go ahead and try to get this working here, because I think it's being kind of an ass right now. Oh, right, hold on. I think I know what's going on. Is it this? Yep, you guys should be able to see it now. Okay, so if you guys look here at this screenshot, you can see that this rewrite was going to be, and this was one of the pieces of evidence that they were stealing my shit. As you can see, they were making a quote-unquote remake of Corrupt Fleetway. I don't like it. I really don't. It's fucking terrible. Like, what even is that? They were gonna make him tan and have black eyes. I'm a little colorblind. Well, actually, I am colorblind, so I don't know what that color is for the swirls. But you see what I mean here. This here is evidence that they were gonna steal my shit. So, then comes another person that also sides with Uni. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. But anyway, they go by the name of Random the Bat. Random the Bat is Uni's biggest white knight. Oh, God. They went ahead and posted this. Now, as I'm loading it up, I'm going to state another thing. It's not just Uni that was making rewrites on my series. Random was making a whole rewrite as well. But it wasn't with Multiverse Sonic. I want you guys to guess who it was. Who got a rewrite by Random the Bat? No, Solar doesn't belong to me. No, Fleetway. Emily got it right. Emily got it right. They wanted to make a rewrite of Bad Sonic. Even though that Bad Sonic story was never even told yet. His story was never told. The thing is, though, is that there has been a lot of vague information that Bad Sonic has been leaving in videos regarding his backstory. But the thing is, we've been keeping it vague. There's gonna be a point somewhere down the line where I do address that. But the thing is that thanks to somebody in the chat that goes by the name of Wendy Ho, they have sent me a zip file that contains the Bad Sonic rewrite that only contains 2 chapters. Myself and Mel read it.
Yeah.
We read it. It was bad. Guess what? Guess what it was, guys? It was a college AU. A college AU. Now, I'm not going to say what it's about because there's supposedly kids in the chat right now, so I'm not going to state what it is. But anyway,
I will say one thing about it.
Go ahead.
One thing I will say about it is it covers very dark topics that the original Bad Sonic, yeah, it would not be covering with that. It involves a lot of, like, taking... Now, say what you will about Bad Sonic, you know, and his story. There is lore behind him, and one of the things is... I do kind of want to quote one thing that you said to me, Nick, is that, like, in his world, consent is kind of a given.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of how people are. Like, you don't mess with the children characters, but, like, consent is kind of a given in his world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and there is depictions of non-consensual acts in the rewrite.
Yeah, it literally shows that in the rewrite. It's so bad, and it's something that Bad Sonic himself would never ever do. But again, I'm not going to go into details of what it is because I know that there's supposed to be...
That's all we're leaving it at, but we can confirm that that content, because they even include trigger warnings for that.
They do, yeah. But still, but anyway, so now we're gonna go to the next section. I believe I covered whatever it is that I needed to cover about my experiences with uni, with me being friends with them. So we're
aside from the big thing,
yeah,
aside from the big thing,
yeah, we are going to cover the allegations that were made on me by Uni and Random the Bat. So, she has made very false allegations against me. Incredibly false. In fact, get this, guys. Not a single one of those posts that Uni has ever made about me on her channel shows any evidence. There's no evidence.
They're saying your mic is pretty quiet, by the way.
Then I'll have to increase the output then. Is this better, guys? Can you guys hear me okay? Like when I say yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they're saying.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, like I said, there is no evidence that I committed any of these specific things ever. Like, nothing. There is no evidence whatsoever about this. So, I'm gonna open back up the browser here, and we're gonna go over the first thing that Random accused me of. We're gonna open this up. Oh, crap. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna go here. This was a TikTok video that Random made on their TikTok account. Multiverse Sonic is a creep to women. He coerced my sister into making a not safe for work audio with his now ex-best friend. He also takes advantage of every female VA he works with. So we're gonna go over that bit by bit. As you can see as you can see right here, on TikTok videos when it shows pictures, there are circles that have like a left and right arrows that you can scroll through. This is the only picture that they posted. This was the only one that they posted. This was the only thing that they did. There was no screenshots, there was no videos, there was no links, there was nothing. There was nothing. Now anyway, he coerced my sister into making an NSFW audio with his now ex-best friend. Do you guys want to know a little thing that I cooked up? I sent this over to Wendy at one point. So, this supposed NSFW audio that I supposedly coerced her into making was actually a thing regarding her Fleetway alongside a Sonic.exe and a Shadow.exe in a shower together. Now, what I will say is I'm not going to play the audio here, but what I will play is me that'll immediately prove this whole situation out the window. It'll throw everything out the window regarding this specific allegation. She wants to say that I coerced her into making that audio? No. No. That's not how it works here. You see, I got something that you don't have, Uni, and that is evidence. Something that you lack. So anyway, I'm gonna play this. So this was a video that this was a clip from a video that Blake posted in October of 18th of 2020. She wants to say that I coerced her into making a shower scene. Listen to this.
Catch you guys later. Peace out.
We gotta do a shower scene.
Catch you.
Does that sound like me coercing? Does that sound like any of it? Ladies and gentlemen, does that sound like coercion? I don't think so. What does that sound like to you? Huh? Get pushed. Get pushed. Random and Uni. Get pushed.
All right, Nick, let's tone it down.
Sorry. Anyway. So yeah. Now, there's a reason why, you know, Mel is here. And also there's a couple other people in the chat now that are also... We're going to go over one of the things that was said here. He also says that I am a creep towards women and that I take advantage of every female VA that I work with. That's the reason why I brought along Mel here. That's one of the reasons why. To not only keep me under control, but to also clarify that allegation that was made on me. So, Mel, if you want to have the floor, you can.
All right. So I'm pretty sure most people won't be surprised by what I'm about to say, but obviously I don't consider Nick to be a creep to me, or anyone I've seen that, you know, is one of my fellow females that he's worked with. There is something that will kind of be brought up later, if you plan on bringing that video into it.
Which one? Because I gotta know which
the one you downloaded before we started.
Oh, yes.
One thing that gets brought up is that one accusation that you'll hear later is this thing of Nick wants his female actresses to be seen, not heard. And it's this whole concept where basically he tends to silence their voices and, you know, just wants us to play the parts and then like nothing else. And that is the exact opposite of my experience with Nick. In fact, Nick regularly checks in to make sure that I am happy with the way, you know, things are being portrayed regarding my character, and also just he gets my input on a lot of things. I mean, Nick jokingly calls me the idea person now.
Yeah.
And
it's not just Mel. I do it with everybody too. Like whenever I like there was a video that we recorded a couple like literally 2 weeks ago. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I always ask. I always ask: is everyone satisfied with their scenes? Do we need to redo anything, or should we keep going? And so far, I've only been getting, you know, yes, that they are satisfied. So I make sure that everybody is heard. Even females.
Like, the whole thing is that Nick cares for others, his friends especially. He is a very nice guy. He looks out for me all the time. And, like, he treats everyone with a level of respect that they deserve. And when I literally heard the allegation of like, oh, Nick is sexist, Nick doesn't respect women, it's like I literally just like had this whole moment where I was like, huh? Wait, where's this coming from? Because I can assure you guys, if Nick was half as bad as he was being accused of regarding treating women a certain way, I would not be working with him. Not even a little bit. Because I don't tolerate that sort of thing. So,
absolutely.
If nothing else, like, I am very openly a woman. I completely identify as a woman. And I can say that this guy right here, he makes sure that I am heard, that I am acknowledged, and I'm cared for both on and off set.
Yeah. I do
And
the same
I've
thing
seen
with
him
everybody
treat
else.
Yeah, and I've seen him treat not just me like that, but everyone he works with like that. It's not just a me thing. I'm not the exception to the rule. It is the rule, and I am just one person who is following that same rule because he absolutely respects everyone he works with, that he cares for. Like, he is a great guy. I will completely be a character witness for him
Yeah.
because he has not given me a reason to doubt him.
And the thing is that, you know, there are people that have, there are people, you know, such as Queen AG in the chat right there saying that, you know, in regards to the Rosie video, that is a big example there of me checking to make sure that there are any changes that needed to be made to the recording itself to make sure that everybody, you know, gets what they want in the video. As long as the objective of the video is complete, then that's what matters. And Chills is also in chat right now saying that I respect that. And Varia Sailor Peace is also saying that. Uni, you have multiple female VAs telling you that I care about them. Multiple. There's so many to count. But anyway. So yeah. As a matter of
Yes, my
fact,
bird is supporting
will
Nick
go-
as well.
Thank you, Roy. Yeah, see, Roy, please clarify. Do I make sure on your side that I make sure that to ask you if you are satisfied with any recordings that we do? Do I ask? Here, you answer that. I'm gonna get this thing set up because it's in regards to what Mel said before, but it's about the big thing here. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
But seriously, I will absolutely go to bat for Nick when it comes to any accusations of sexism because I have not seen it in the slightest. And I have encountered sexist individuals. And I've seen it range from very blatant to a lot more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Roy says to check your. And Wendy Ho says to check your DMs.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, here we go. So apparently there is now a list of the people that of the quote-unquote females that I manipulated and used. But there's also males here on this list as well, but they're mostly female. But anyway. So oh. Oh, he's calling my phone. Roy's calling my phone.
Oh, okay.
Here, hold on. Give me a moment. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, Chill said I can double on that sexism. The Sonic VR chat community has a lot of sexism. There is a lot of
Okay, I'm
sexist
just gonna
individuals
mute
in the
my
community
microphone
on a whole.
OBS right now, just to
Okay.
give Roy a little rundown privately. So one
Okay.
sec. All right, guys. Roy is on the phone right now, so go ahead, Roy. Say your piece.
All right. I have worked with Nick for several years, and I'm gonna be real. This man, he is none of these things. He is not sexist. He is not fucking. He doesn't manipulate us into working with him. it's genuinely, like, this man, if I probably wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for this man. He is a good guy, and these allegations will not hold up, especially since there is no evidence.
Yeah. But anyway.
He's a good man. I gotta get going. Family's calling.
All right. Thank you, Roy. And I hung up. All right, so we're going to go over real quick of the list that was sent to me by Wendy, and also a person that we're going to be bringing on stream pretty soon here. But yeah. So, I'm going to open this back up. We're going to go over this list of people that I supposedly abused and emotionally and psychologically, apparently. But anyway, this was made way back then, apparently. So, they got themselves, which I never did. Scout, we are literally still friends. In fact, those that don't know, Scout was actually my first Tangle VA. He was my Tangle VA at the time of Sonic Multiverse Season 2. But then, because of stuff, IRL stuff, hitting them all at once, they had to leave. So there's that. Vicky. Vicky and I recently reconciled after the stuff that happened with Blake. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Brooke, it's complicating because of the fact that, you know, there were things that were said recently that I wasn't quite proud of her really saying, but we're not going to go into that. This ain't about her. This is about Uni. So, manipulated and used. Nell! Nell! Nell, the monster Yeen? I think that's what they're called. But anyway, so yeah.
Varia says you should keep going because there's a couple names in there that are individuals who are currently in the chat.
Yeah. Benchu. Apparently Benchu is on this list. Apparently I used Benchu, even though that I would usually message them, making sure that they're okay. Because they've been feeling very, very sad lately, and I've been the one messaging them. So how is that me manipulating them? But anyway. Next we got Eddie, aka Fluffbat. I barely knew Eddie, not gonna lie. I barely knew them. But they were cool. But I never did use them, ever. In fact, the only thing that we really did together was play Fortnite back then, but that was literally the only thing that we did. Let's see. Eli, aka Speedy Blue. Oh boy. Oh man. Apparently I manipulated him. Apparently I used him too. Even though that he completely understood. He completely understood my frustrations and everything like that, and he says that I never used him or manipulated him in the slightest. He said it himself. Next, we got Varia. Yo, Varia! Varia, you're on this list, apparently. But yeah. Like, what the fuck is this? What is this list? Anyway, next we got Zoe. I'll tell you guys this one thing. Zoe is probably the sweetest, one of the sweetest individuals I have ever came across, and I'd be damned if I was to ever use them or manipulate them in any way, shape, or form. They have done too much for me already. Next we got AG. I will say this. I've already reconciled with AG, but I never manipulated or used them in any way. Now, of course, in an in-character perspective, pre-Genesis Multi hated her for no reason. He was petty. He was a bitch. But guess what? Us out of character, we never hated each other. In fact, there were even quite recently, like about a year back, I attended one of her concerts in her VC, and it was a great experience. So again, get pushed. Brenna, I never did, ever. Never did. Emotionally or psychologically abused. Blurry? I don't even know who the hell that is. Nell? When did I ever do that? You know what? I'm just gonna use all these as a collective. Why? When did I ever do this? And where is the evidence to prove this? There is no evidence.
I'm gonna say emotionally and psychologically abused, and like AG's name is there, but in parentheses, early to say, but no doubt will have already happened sooner or later.
That's an
That is-
assumption.
That's an assumption.
That's a fucking assumption. That's not proof. That's not even a case. You're just you're just planting weed in the ground.
All right. But let's
But
get back on
anyway.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back on
anyway.
track.
So yeah, yeah, all those people, just bullshit, just flat out bullshit. Like, I don't understand her logic at all. Coming out here and accusing me of this, that, and the other. Oh boy. Oh boy. And the thing is that I believe that the only piece of quote-unquote evidence, and this is going to get a little bit personal, but I think it's because of the fact that I fluster people.
And so you and several other people I know would be on the chopping block then?
Apparently so.
'Cause-
If that's by her logic, I guess. I don't know. Because, like, I'm looking at a thing that,
I mean,
a
you
screenshot.
tease me, but I let that happen.
Yeah, and I tease AG. They let that happen. Same goes with Varia. Same goes with fucking Zoe.
Yeah, and you're not the only
get
one who
this.
teases me, and I'm fine
and-
with everyone who teases me teasing me.
And get this. Just so that Uni does not go and say, oh my god, he's cheating. Fallen consented to this. They said that they were fine with it.
Fallen teases others too.
Yeah, Fallen teases others. They tease Mel. They tease fucking, like, a bunch of other people. And I don't care. I give them permission to. I don't care. But anyway, let's see. This screenshot, okay, I cannot show this on stream, but, says, here's how they crave for attention. They find a talented, good-hearted person. Bonus if it's a specimen with a walking P-word, pretty much. One or the other will use their art, one or the other, to pull them into a relationship. Let's see. Both proceed to toss them around like as they try to find a reason to use them further, but no. Then they let go of their side hose and move in for the next ones they can rub their you-know-what on. Harsh, but it's literally true. They treat women like absolute S-toys. Here, if you want, Mel, I could send these over to you so you can, like, get a better
Yeah,
understanding, 'cause
I'd like to
why I have
see this.
Why I have to censor so much in this shit. But, like, do you guys see what I mean here? Like, honestly, Like, it blows my mind how embarrassing she must be feeling right now. Like, Uni, I'm gonna make this perfectly clear. You are embarrassing yourself. You are spouting claims without evidence. You are spouting false information. In fact, I'm gonna get down to another allegation while Mel is reading that screenshot. Apparently, I am racist. She claims that I'm racist. When have I ever said anything remotely racist? When?
This is absolutely unhinged behavior. I'm sorry. I just read the screenshots. What is this? If we were to literally post these screenshots, like, you'd have to, like, cross out so many words.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through that, which is why I'm not gonna show it, but all of it is literally her just showing a quote-unquote example of how I abuse women. When I don't. I never have. Because you have multiple women in the chat right now that are literally saying that I never did this. But anyway, back to the racism stuff. I've never said anything racist. There was actually a whole document that Uni made about me saying that I'm racist. Now, that document is gone. It's completely gone. I don't know where it is. I looked at it through my Google Docs because I had it saved, but it's not there anymore. Which can only be one thing, and that she fucking deleted it. But anyway, but yeah, so that's that whole thing out the window. We're gonna take all the racism stuff and the sexism and just throw it out the goddamn window because that shit is bull. Anyway, next thing. Apparently, she, in that very document that I talked about, she accused me of being anti-LGBT. Guys, I want you to look at my merch. Look at my merch. Look at the merch, I tell you. Does that look like anti-LGBT? Look at the merch, everyone. The merch that Fallen drew for Pride Month. Look at that. It's Pride Month merch. How does that make me anti-LGBT? No. I'm literally dating someone who's a trans male. How am I anti-LGBT? Roy is LGBT. Mel is LGBT.
Hmm?
AG is LGBT. Chills is. Need I say more? Anyway, crumple that up, throw it out the window.
I mean, Nick, you yourself.
Yes, I am. I am LGBT. I am omnisexual, which means that I am pansexual, but I have a preference towards females. I do find guys cute, but I wouldn't date them.
I mean, you flirted with a few. And again, you're dating a non-binary, mask-leaning individual.
Yes. So how am I that? When it's literally right there in your face. In fact, get this, guys. I did a charity stream. Way back then for Sega of UK. Hello? Do you not see that, Uni? Or maybe you rely off of your kid fans to give you false information. But anyway. Alright. Next. We're gonna go back to the whole using women thing. Mel, I'm going to screen share the video here. I know you watched it before.
Yes, I'm not looking forward to hearing this again, but I did say that we were going to be
showing. We're only going to cover the parts where she said about me.
Oh no, I know. It's just I didn't like hearing this the first time, but no, I already said that we were going to be covering this because one of the things I was talking about in my statement was about this. So
yeah. Now then.
Make sure that you're showing them.
Don't worry. I'm just gonna play audio. That's all. They can hear it.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. This is a call that happened between a guy by the name of Blazing Star Sonic and Uni herself about a couple weeks ago. So here we go. We're gonna pause it bit by bit and go over each point.
But my feelings were very complicated back then on whether I just know I feel like I did feel like some sort of pressure and then regret later. But that video was supposed to be private. And here's what's funny.
The thing that they're referring to is the quote-unquote shower video.
Is that Blake, Nick's ex-friend, Blake and Nick, who where we made the video, they had the link to it, and they left it unlisted on their channels. It was never on mine. I
never posted anything unlisted on my channel other than the videos that I have to upload. Never did. Never uploaded the shower video to my channel at all. But I'll tell you one thing. The thing about the quote-unquote shower video was that she actually gave me permission to make a Gary's Mod stop-motion animation of that very audio. The original audio, though, was posted on her channel, where kids can watch it. She gave me permission to take that audio and make a Gary's Mod animation and only to keep it to myself. The reason why I gave it over to Wendy and Spiral was because they wanted evidence of Uni's hypocrisy. We'll get to the hypocrisy in a second here.
Claim. Because I was a big professional YouTuber. Why would I have that? Yes. Oh boy, Blaze, is he a fucking awful person. I was about to say awesome. Oh god, my
Thank you for the compliment.
tongue. Fuck no. Fuck that.
Note,
Fuck that. He is
in the
not an
video,
awful person. He is...
pause it real quick.
Yeah.
So one thing to note in the video is that Blazing Star Sonic is muted and is typing all the responses. And one of the things that they just say before Uni started saying like, "Oh, that guy," it says Nick is Multiverse Sonic, right? Also, green screen.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's messing up. There we go. Sorry, guys. We're back.
All right, now we have the continuation.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Awful.
Oh boy, guys, I am so awful. Let's see if she provides evidence for this.
But here's the question that I'm about to present to you. Why the fuck did he still have that video?
Because I kept it for evidence purposes so I could point out your bullshit hypocrisy.
That's a good question. That is very weird he would still have that when we're not even friends anymore. So he's had it for 6 years. Fucking weird. And he 100% gave it to her to hurt me.
Yeah, damn right I did, because you deserved it because of the fucking bullshit that you're doing, which I will get into after we're done talking about these allegations.
And another thing you may have read is that I stole his Sonic Multiverse series. Yes, I did. You want?
Boom! See? Confession! Confession to content theft! Confession! Flat out confession. Hi, Chibi.
Yeah, you were very excited. Chibi was very excited about it too.
Confession! Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, she has confessed to stealing my stuff.
I know why? Because it sucks, and I want to make my own version. And it's not even going to be public, or at least not for a very long time. I see the potential it has, and it's like, And then he goes on to say that I pretended to like Sonic Multiverse. That's no.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did pretend to like it. You know why? Because if you didn't pretend to like it, you wouldn't be acting like this. Saying that, oh, the unnecessary Dragon Ball stuff, all the Dragon Ball stuff in this Sonic series. Oh, no. You came into my series with the knowledge that all these different topics and anime stuff existed within my lore. You came into there. You made the choice to do it. You made that choice yourself. So shut up. If you're quitting a series, right? If you're quitting something, you gotta look at the good in it at least, right? Like if I had beef with somebody, right? If I had beef with somebody, and I worked on them on a project, and I ended up getting, you know, either kicked out or I left or whatever the fuck, I wouldn't go and say, oh yeah, I actually hated it. You've literally revealed several times that you've never liked my series after we stopped being friends. You've literally said this multiple times. In fact, on your original AB City channel, you constantly made memes attacking me over my stuff. Talking about, oh, Sonic Multiverse in a nutshell. Sonic Multiverse be like. Bad Sonic be like. Multiverse Sonic be like. Nick be like. If that doesn't scream harassment, I don't know what does.
Saw the potential in the series, and I liked it at first, but with the working environment that he and Nick, that Blake and Nick were doing, the working environment was awful. The turnover rate, if you don't know what that is, like it also can apply to a job. Turnover.
It applies to a job. Period. It doesn't apply anywhere else. It's just jobs. That's it.
Well, you can consider what we do a little bit of a job, but even still, I wouldn't really say that applies here.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I pay people. The only people I paid for when it comes to like specific things is Roy when it comes to models. Like the
rest of us are basically volunteers.
I have offered artists and model makers to be paid, but they always say no because they want to do it for fun. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You don't want to be paid, that's fine. Just know the offer's still on the table. That's it. Simple as that. Anyway,
is when someone gets hired quickly, but they don't stay very long and then they quit. So that was the case with other voice actors, and they were all women, mostly women.
Keep in mind, guys, that Sonic Multiverse Season 1 had one female voice actor, and the other one, in Season 2, had 2 female voice actors. Now, Scout, at the time, I believe was a female before they became a trans male. I think so. I might be wrong, but I just wanted to make sure. But anyway, I had less female voice actors than I did male voice actors. So, and in fact, both Scout and Uni are literally 2. All the rest were all male. Myself, Blake, Speedy Blue, a couple others. But other than that, that's it. That's all.
They prey on women. Like Brandon puts it, Nick only wants his women voice actors to be seen but not heard. Oh, he absolutely is. He's gross. He's turning out worse than Blake.
Worse than Blake? What do you mean worse than Blake?
Okay, Nick. Remember? But this was the line I was referring to earlier regarding seen, not heard. Now, Nick, remember, gotta keep calm about this.
I'm trying. I really am. Worse than
I know
Blake.
you are.
Let me
No,
just state
that's
my
a-
case about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Worse than Blake? How is any of the allegations, like, I can't really say that the allegations that were made are either worse than Blake or at least equivalent. I don't know. But to compare me to a monster like him,
It's an insult. Then that's an understatement.
like, I don't understand. I really don't get it.
All right, but
Like, I never did what Blake did. I never did any of those things that Blake did, or even come close to what he did. Never. I'd rather die than do that. Anyway. Here we go.
And we thought Blake was the worst. Yeah. And he's also a massive hypocrite in so many ways, but I won't get into that. I'll get into that another time.
So that portion of it, saying that, like, I'm hypocritical. The only time I'm ever hypocritical is when I'm, now this is a little bit personal, but the only time I'm ever hypocritical is when I don't take my own advice.
I was about to say, that's the only time you're a hypocrite, when you don't take your
ever
own
time
advice.
I'm a man enough to admit that I am the kind of guy that doesn't take my own advice. I am man enough to admit that. But any other time, if I was to ever do anything that would harm somebody, and then I would ridicule somebody for doing the same thing that I did, I would either not try to justify it, but I would basically try to lead them on a path to where they don't end up like me. And that right there is not being a hypocrite, because that's me acknowledging my hypocrisy. Speaking of hypocrisy, because we've also reached the end of the part where that needs to be stated in regards to the allegations that she laid out before me. I think she did. Hold on, let me keep playing.
But that was one of the reasons why he and Blake went after my channel and took it down in 2022.
It was only me. One did not have anything to do with the other.
False copyright.
Wasn't false copyright. You didn't credit my shit when I specifically told you multiple times to do it. You did not do it.
But he put it under the guise that, under the disguise that I re-uploaded their content that without permission. That's a lie. No, they gave me.
I never said that. I never said that you re-uploaded my content. I said that you reacted to my content, which is fine as long as you credit me. You did not do that. I asked you about it several times, and you said that you were lazy to do it. So I used that later on down the line as evidence to strike down your channel. And that is what I did. So stop lying, get a clue, and take those allegations and shove them right up your ass.
Permission, but instead of like talking about it privately like adults to take it down, they struck down the channel because they knew it would hurt me.
No, I did it because it was the right thing to do, and me enacting upon YouTube's policies. That is what I did. There is nothing you can say or do that'll get me to think otherwise. If people make reaction videos, it's obvious to the person to credit them. It's obvious. It's reaction content 101. Always credit the person that you are reacting to.
I even tried to compromise, like, hey, I'll take down the videos if you take down the strikes. And I did, and they didn't keep.
They did not. They never did. You know why? Because we had you blocked. How are we supposed to quote-unquote compromise if we never talked with you ever again after our last encounter? It had been years since our last encounter. Years! So the fact that you're out here still accusing me of this is mind-blowing.
Keep their promise. Nope. They didn't. They are. Though, call me crazy, but there's some things as time has gone on. There's some things, not everything, that I have forgiven Blake for. Because
Whoa.
when he's not being awful...
Whoa. Things that you have forgiven Blake for? What made you want to say that, you dumbass?
Nick?
Oh, boy.
Trust me, I don't agree with the idea of forgiving someone like Blake. But let's, again, try to keep ourselves level.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just take a
major
couple
jerk
deep
off
breaths.
right
That's
now.
why I'm here, remember? That's why I'm here.
Yeah. So, she says that there are some things that she has forgiven Blake for, but she wasn't specific. So, I don't know.
There were times when he was genuinely pretty nice and very chill.
That is true. That is something I can agree with. There were points where Blake was a chill guy, that he was nice, that he was kind, and everything like that. But then when he started dating Brenna, everything changed. Everything. There are multiple people in chat that can agree with me on that. That things changed when he started dating Brenna. He changed.
I don't know. You just had to catch him at a good day. But both of them likely have narcissistic personality disorder, and that's something that's very common around people on social media. It's so rampant. It drives me nuts because I have grown up around. I was raised.
Who made her a doctor?
Armchair psychiatry,
All
yeah,
that just seemed like self-projection, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's that video. We're gonna go ahead and close that out. So now, we're gonna go over one more thing before we bring in a certain someone. So, what happened was that at one point, way after the stuff that happened with Blake, I was just, casually on YouTube. And at the time, I was subbed to this person that, I always like subscribing to people who would like, that are basically like, pred hunting channels. Because it always warms my heart seeing people like that get put in their place and get put behind bars, if you will. It's always satisfying. There was one person that used to be one of these people. Some of y'all know this person. They go by Maya Glaze. Maya had uploaded a video. I think it was something titled like, if a man can be convicted, then why shouldn't a woman be convicted? And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I look at the thumbnail of the video and I literally see a picture of Fleetway. I'm like, no way. This can't be real. No way. So I'm just like, okay, bet. I'm clicking it. I gotta watch this video. So I click it, and what I found out changed everything. Now, a lot of people don't know this, which can't blame y'all. You know, people have said their videos, you know, but that's because, you know, no one as, God, how can I say this without sounding egotistical? Because I don't know if I will, but people that aren't as big as me don't really get their voice heard when it comes to situations like this. That's why at the beginning of this stream, I said that these people don't have a voice. And that's why I'm here, to give them their voice. So anyway, what we're going to do is, let me see. We're going to try to find this video because unless if one of my peers that is in the chat right now can go find it for me and link it to me, that'd be extremely helpful. Because this here, this audio that I'm going to play will solidify everything. Everything regarding her hypocrisy, everything regarding who she is as a human being. All bases are covered, and it's time for the Grand Slam. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the final nail in the coffin. You're going to hear something that not a lot of people heard. Okay, so my acquaintance Wendy is going to go find that video right now. Meanwhile, I'm going to look for it myself. Because let me actually, I think I can rely probably on Azrael. Let me see. Let's see. Is it this one here? Because I think I can only play like a certain clip of it, maybe. No, that's not it. Is it in their shorts? Yes! Okay, I found it, guys. I have found the short. I found it. All I need to do is play this short. And that's it. That's it. This will literally debunk every single thing that has been said so far. So let's go ahead and give it a listen, shall we? Here we go.
I can get you the video because she sent it to me. It's a 12-minute long video, but there's a lot of...
I'll just for context, don't take it. I know how it sounds. Don't take it the wrong way. I know I shouldn't have said, but I was basically just trying to question whether if I was attracted to kids or not.
That is something
But
you
I
should
didn't-
never question. What? Why would you?
No,
Wait.
I should.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Basically,
don't-
what she was trying to say, and I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I'll give it to I'll explain. Basically, what she's trying to say is she's trying to ask, does she feel okay around kids because kids can make her nervous. and
But-
she was
but-
trying to put it in a way.
That's not.
No,
no,
that- Didn't she say attracted, not feel okay?
yeah,
That's a completely different thing.
yeah.
Well,
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I don't know what to do. This is what I was afraid of.
Well, after
But
after
everything else.
after what you said, like, what? How many underage people have you said this sort of thing
Just
towards?
her. Just her.
only one.
And how old was the? All right. And let's see. I'm skimming through here with this other video. Who were you living with?
I
On
was
this
living
one.
on my own. Or about the time, is that what you mean?
Um,
I know. I'm sorry. I
I
am.
don't know,
See,
man.
this is what I'm afraid of.
Like
I don't know what to do.
people would not forgive a male for doing this. I don't.
Mhm.
Why? People would not forgive a male for doing this. A female shouldn't be any exception. What you did was
I
clearly
know.
wrong.
I don't think I should be around here anymore then.
I think that you need to get off Discord, work on yourself, go to therapy, and
I have been working on
And
myself. I've made changes around and rules around myself.
even if so, like, the best thing you could do is get off Discord, get off YouTube, like, probably just delete it and just like go seek therapy, because in this
I
kind of
don't want to
situation,
delete my channel. My channel is
you're
my
around-
life. I
you're
don't know
around-
what to do.
but
I
with
don't
this
know
channel,
what to
you-
do.
with this
I don't know
channel,
what to do.
you influence children.
I don't know what to do.
Winnie.
Okay.
Uni,
Okay,
Uni.
Maya.
I can get you the video because she sent it to me.
So,
It's
yeah.
a 12-minute long.
So yeah, that was basically the short. So there you go, guys. That basically sets that whole thing. Oh Jesus, hold on. There's green covering my screen. Hold up.
Oh, that is green.
Hold on. Give it a moment to adjust. Hold on. Cause just one second.
It is
guys.
bright.
I know. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I gotta. My thing needs time to adjust. One sec, guys. But to basically go further into there we go. All right, it's fixed now. So yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Full on confession that she is attracted to kids. She just said it. She said it clear as day. And hopefully this will cause her popularity to decrease to none. Hopefully. So yeah, Mel, do you want to state your thoughts about that clip?
I mean, there's things that you should not be questioning about yourself. Attraction to kids is one of those things you should never be questioning. Now, here's the thing. I understand that intrusive thoughts are a thing, and those can be very distressing. Those sorts of things can be very distressing. But the thing is about intrusive thoughts is they should horrify you. You should not be wondering, am I actually this? No, the second you have a thought like that, you should be disgusted by it and you should move on. That isn't the way that Uni addresses that. If it was an intrusive thought, it would have been an immediate disgust reaction from yourself upon having that. But no, instead, she was questioning it and then had proceeded to tell a minor about it. So immediately putting a minor at risk. And I'm sorry, there are just certain things that you don't mess with. It's like, that isn't okay. It's like, of all the things that we're seeing, like false accusations, defending of a very awful individual, and then we can kind of see why this person might have that sort of bias. And it's because they themselves are someone that falls under that category. And if we're going to have this sort of thing occur, we have, like, if we're going to have a situation like this, we're going to put all the facts on the table. And I'm sorry, but this has been the thing that's like, when earlier in the stream I said that, like, the big thing that needs to be addressed, this is what I'm referring to. Because false accusations, petty arguments between former cast members and current cast members, it is one thing. That is drama that, like, generally speaking, if someone else doesn't bring it to the front, you don't really put it in front of your audience, right? You keep a level of professionalism at all times. But the second that it turns into a matter of predators, bigots, actual problematic individuals, that's where you can't stay quiet. And this situation has been addressed already. But it's like, if the drama's going to come back again, we're going to remind people that this isn't just drama. This is a dangerous individual who's trying to come back.
And not only that, but it's also heavily evident that because of this audio, because of this revelation that you guys now have, because clearly I believe none of you guys ever knew about this audio that existed, I believe it goes to show her own hypocrisy. As a matter of fact, speaking of her hypocrisy, that first point that I made about her hypocrisy and showing that audio was only the tip of the iceberg. Her character, Fleetway, she has stated several times, and there are even screenshots of it, of Google Hangouts conversations, of her addressing that her Fleetway is 17. Now get this. Think about the shower video, or the shower audio. Her committing NSFW acts on her character, who is 17. Now, another thing is that there's this guy that and keep in mind, this person used to be against me, but when I convinced them otherwise, thanks to the help of Wendy, and also the victim that we're going to be bringing here on the stream pretty soon, thanks to them, they now side with me. And also the victim too. They side with all of us, really. They go by the name of Tristan. Tristan basically made a character by the name of Lust Sonic, inspired by Bad Sonic. There's a guy in the chat named Corin the Hedgebat there. You can see him there in the chat. That's Tristan. That's them. They made a character named Lust Sonic. Now, do not go after them for this, because it's not their fault. They were young. They didn't know better. Now, get this. Lust Sonic, I thought that Tristan was, over the age of 18, thus creating this character.
And there we go. The comment right there.
There is, huh?
I was 14 when making him and have changed him since then.
Yeah.
That's what Corn the Hedgehog.
So, Tristan said just now that they were 14 when they made this character. Now, if we go over to how Uni basically treats her community, she likes to claim that she is a quote-unquote motherly figure. Screenshots say otherwise. If she is a motherly figure, why would she allow a 14-year-old to create a NSFW character and allow it? You see, she wants to go and say that we are preds, but she clearly is one herself if she is not only confessing to having an attraction to kids, but also allowing a kid to create an NSFW character that she has knowledge of. Now keep in mind, this is not Tristan's fault, so don't go after him in any means necessary. He did not know any better. It's Uni that was the problem in advocating for that. What she should have done was stop him, but she did not stop him. And how do I know this? Tristan, I'm going to use your channel as an example of this.
So I'm also going to request for everyone to not make Epstein and Diddy jokes right now.
Yeah,
this is.
I was gonna say,
here's the thing. It's like,
gonna say, do not make any Diddy or Epstein jokes, please. This is a very serious situation and needs to be taken seriously. Please do that.
It's like, I understand that some of you guys use humor to cope with stressful situations. I get that. I too sometimes like to laugh at, dark times. But the thing is, we want to really emphasize the severity of the situation. It's why, for example, you guys might not have noticed, but my sprite doesn't smile when I speak. And Nick here is in a Subaru VTuber model, so he's not in any of his usual sprites, which smile when he speaks. We really want to emphasize that this is something serious. We want this to genuinely understand.
And we also
we want you guys to genuinely understand.
To also take this seriously as well, because people's lives are at risk for this. So I will say that.
So keep okay, what Yackles just said, I heavily agree with. Kids sometimes make NSFW characters when trying to explore themselves and their sexualities. However, adults shouldn't be encouraging it, as it puts them in a lot of danger. And I emphasize that I completely agree with that statement, because there's a reason why, sex ed gets taught in more like middle school-esque times. And some of us have had to have the talk earlier than others. And the reason for that is it is a natural part of growing up. However, when you are an adult, you genuinely have to make sure that you are very careful with your interactions with minors, especially in those fields. You should not be engaging with it, or at the most, or you should be discouraging it in the sense of, this is not the area for you to do it. You cannot put yourself at risk here.
Not to mention
on the internet, you encounter so many people that can put you in harm's way, especially when you are a minor.
There are also adults that literally say, "Oh, but they came to me first." You do realize you have the option to say no, right? To say if a minor came up to you and said "Oh, I want to do this, this, and this with you," you literally can just say no to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people literally saying, like, oh, I have a hard time saying no all the time. Me, I have a hard time saying no, too. But I know common sense when I see it. I know it. I know when to say no to a minor whenever they ask me, like, for things like that. Fuck that. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to jail. I got so much going for me that I don't want to do that. I got so much. And I at least have my humanity. I got my humanity to keep. But anyway, like, it's so easy to say no. It's so easy. It's easy. But anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? Oh, right, yes, about Tristan. So Tristan made a live stream. They removed it. Damn it, there goes my evidence. Okay, basically,
Well,
Tristan made a live stream. You know, they were doing a live stream showcasing themselves as Lust Sonic. Who was in the chat? Uni was in the chat.
Tristan just said I put it back.
Oh, did you? Oh my god, Tristan, you're a lifesaver. Thank you. All right, let's see. So, yeah, okay, so I could see Tristan as you know what? Hold on. Let me show this to you guys.
Hold on, Nick. I'm going to say I would not recommend showing this.
Oh, no.
Due to
huh?
Remember, we're dealing back when Tristan was a minor, so I wouldn't encourage
no, I'm only gonna show
showing
a
that.
screenshot. I'm only gonna show a portion where Uni entered the live stream in the chat.
Okay, then that's fine. But we want to keep it as, again,
don't worry.
Given the age at the time, we don't want to do it. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, exactly what Tristan said. I do voice impressions that shouldn't be heard. Exactly. So we're just going to get screenshots.
I'm not gonna play anything. I'm only gonna show.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take a look at this.
And there's another thing that Yackle said I agree with.
Look who is in the chat. That's Uni. That's Uni's old channel with her profile picture. Literally approving of this minor that made an NSFW character. Oh boy. And actually, I want to address something here. So, Random the Bat actually accused me of not age restricting any of my Bad Sonic videos when I do. So, a while back, like about a year ago, I believe, I had a manager on the channel. Basically, I gave them the video. They were also my editor at the time, editing the Bad Sonic intro and the Bad Sonic video itself. Well, actually, no. It was his introduction video. His introduction of, like, his intro and everything like that, of his return. My editor, or manager, forgot to age restrict the video. Now, this was also at a time when YouTube didn't implement their age restriction policies. So what happened was that on the night that the video was done and it was going to be uploaded, that was when the age restriction policies basically became a thing. Now, I used this opportunity because I had a ping from Uni herself basically calling me out that, oh, you're showing this to kid audiences. But guess what? When I saw that, I was like, oh shit, okay, I gotta do something. Did they age restrict the video then? If that was the case, if they knew about this addition? So I went over, I saw that it wasn't. I immediately corrected the issue. And since then, every single Bad Sonic video that I've made has always been age restricted. Every single one of them. So, yeah. Oh, and look at that. It appears that Maya Glees is in the chat. The one who came in clutch for us for exposing Uni for the person that she is. Thank you very much for providing that video and sharing it around like wildfire. Thank you very much. That wasn't sarcasm, by the way. But anyway, so yeah.
I do want to bring up something that Yackles brought up earlier. That
Yeah.
is one thing that I do have to agree with, and that's the idea that adults and minors. The whole thing is that it is a very slippery slope to completely isolate minors from adults, because the thing is, if you completely say like, oh, adults should never be interacting with minors outside of very specific scenarios, well, what if the adults who are, quote, allowed to interact with minors are the bad people? Minors need trusted adults. Unfortunately, there's no clean solution, because there are going to be bad actors on all fronts. And that's why we have to actively make the choice to be the good ones, the ones who speak up when a minor shouldn't be doing something that is not their thing to do, such as NSFW stuff. It is very important that a balance has to be struck, because if the minor is in an abusive home life or has an abusive teacher or stuff like that, the adults that they are allowed to interact with, how are they going to find a way to speak out against it? It's a very slippery slope to say they can't interact with them, but I'm not to say that they can just have unrestricted access to adult spaces. Absolutely. Like, it is so important to make sure that we as adults are always taking responsibility when it comes to interacting with minors.
Like,
We do not let
like,
go
am I
past
friends?
any point of safety.
Like, am I friends with like at least a couple of minors? Of course I am, but I want to keep them safe. I want to keep them
I
protected.
personally tried to avoid being friends with minors, mostly because I don't have a lot of stuff that I can relate to them on. However, if a minor comes up to me seeking advice and guidance,
Yeah.
if it's within like a reasonable thing, like if it's not something that would be wrong for me to talk about with them, I will talk with them. I will treat them like a person. But I will always act within like the idea of knowing that I am in a position of power over them, and I have to be very careful to make sure that this exchange goes safely for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that's my responsibility. That's my responsibility as the adult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not only that, but like you know, like I mean, I think I'm only friends with one, but they go by DeSally Acorn.
The Sally Acorn VA, yeah.
Yes. They have been a victim of a lot of things lately, and I've been protecting them a lot. It's a lot of work, but I've been keeping them safe for the most part. But like, that's just one example though, and you know, it's like there's that. Yes. Yeah, no problem, Maya. No problem. But anyway, so let's see. Is there anything else that I should cover on my end?
That's up to you.
I gotta no, yeah, because I was talking to myself. Is there
Yeah.
anything else? Let's see. Anything on my end? Let's see. We went over the allegations, cleared all that, exposed Uni, and has exposed her for her hypocrisy. Yeah, I think that is it on my end. So, what we're gonna do now is I'm going to fulfill my promise and actually let someone's voice be heard. This person has uploaded their own video regarding their experiences with Uni and being groomed by them. So, we're going to go ahead and bring them in. And also, if Mel, if you could also state what the conditions are once we get into that call with them, that'd be nice. On your
The condition.
Yeah, like why you're here, just to reiterate to them.
Yes. Right.
All right.
Can do.
All right. Let's go. All right. So everyone, welcome. Hold on one sec. First, I gotta put in your reaction image in here before I actually introduce you.
Is my audio good?
Yes, it is.
All right, so just to reiterate my purpose of being here, after we've finished up doing me being the character witness for Nick here, my main thing here is just to make sure that emotions don't get too high, keeping it rather level, and just kind of making sure that things go smoothly and we stay on track with this, all right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, I've never had this many people watching me before. Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, so please welcome the groomed victim of Uni, aka Fleetwood Supersonic, Aster, or Spiralment. They're gonna basically be explaining their whole debacle and everything that happened with them, and make sure that their voice gets heard. And also,
Okay.
I would bring other victims, but this kind of started with them, so there's that.
Okay, so hi. I'm Aster, aka Spiralment. Some of you guys may have known me as False Hero or False, but if you've known me in this community back in like 2021, 2022, you know me as Star or Superstar Warrior, aka the person behind the Starverse channel. And I am a grooming victim of Gray. Or actually, I'm going to use her new name so she can't get away with her new name. I am a grooming victim of Bright. AKA Fleetway VA official / justice for the Fleetway community. We'll get into why the justice part is bullshit later, but anyways.
Yeah, so start from the beginning of everything.
Yeah. Before I even get into like my side of thing, I want to bring up one thing she's done in the server that practically breaks the law. So, someone, I really don't know who, but someone got into her public server and searched up a whole bunch of things. They searched up what people said, what people sent, the shit they've talked about, and they searched up everything Bright has sent in the server. And from logs in 2020 and 2021, and even some stuff later on, I obviously can't show this on stream, but what did we find? We found, not we, Anon, this anonymous person found that Gray sent NSFW of Sonic and fetish material of Sonic to kids, around kids, as young as 13. She sent memes that were NSFW. She sent a bunch of Sonato stuff. And she even sent an image. I don't care if it was censored. It's still NSFW. Hardcore NSFW of Sonato. And that stuff was still up in the server. And that stuff is not censored by any means. And that stuff is stuff she would ping everybody for. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to post this and hopefully no one sees it. No. She made everyone see it. Yeah, it was what Corn said. It was barely censored. And I was gonna throw up when I saw that. Like, oh my god. But I just wanted to bring that up. That information, we're actually probably gonna be dropping a document on Bright later after the stream, so and I'll share the info myself after the stream, but of the proof of that. But now that I said that, let's get into my involvement with Bright or Gray or Uni. Okay, so all the way back in 2021, I was a 17-year-old who had a massive, massive hyperfixation on Fleetway Supersonic. And I was basically a fan of her channel back then because there wasn't really a lot of Fleetway content back then as there is now. But eventually on Tumblr, I made like a comic of Fleetway. She actually found it. It was like, oh, hey, can I dub this? So I was like, yeah, sure. And then I wish things ended there, but nope, they obviously don't, because a few months later, Gray or Bright opened up her Discord server, which she wants to say is private, but that's BS because basically if you put the link out there, of course it's going to be public. But I entered the server in like August or something, I think. I basically entered the server while I was 17 and posted some of my art there. And she immediately recognized me, like, oh my god, wait, is this you? And I was like, yeah, it's me. And she immediately added me after that, and we started talking. And she was immediately like, it was immediately clingy with me, telling me her entire kind of life story. And like, basically, one of the first things she did was in front of me was I was also a fan of Nick and Blake at the time. One of the first things she did was shit talk those two in front of me. So, yep, the conditioning of practically her cult. I'm gonna get to why it's a cult in a second, and not just me being schizo. It is actually a fucking cult at this point. Basically, she immediately tried like getting me on her side and stuff. But yeah, so from there we talked a lot, and she basically sort of would love bomb me, like just saying, by the way, you're an amazing person. Oh my god, you're so amazing. I was like, thank you, because like I wasn't used to that level of appreciation that much before. And eventually, like, she would start calling me terms like sweetie, darling, honey, blah, blah, blah. Like, that by itself it's not bad. I literally have adults calling me that kind of stuff in my life. And guess what? I don't care. But considering the fact Bright literally admitted she's attracted to kids, and I was still a minor at this time. Yeah, no, obviously that is weird. Like you could see in the Google chat things was like Corin and Tristan. You see, he not only does this to me, but every fucking minor she comes across. Every single one. So, yeah. And then eventually, this is around the time I started the Starburst channel, you know, the British rap thing. I hate this, but it eventually got to the point where me and her did a live stream together. And basically, my dad called me for some food, so I pressed the mute button, like, I'll be right back. So when I got my food and she was talking, I was so excited in that moment that I didn't press the unmute button, but I unintentionally pressed the camera button. So I accidentally revealed my face. Now, I know that's like list, whatever, but you want to know what she said to me? I was still 17 when she said this to me, by the way. She said outright, and I remember this word for word. Like, is that a cutie pie I see? Yep. And ever since then, like, I don't have the proof of the live stream anymore. I used to, but I deleted a lot of stuff with me and her because of meltdowns she has caused me from how much she traumatized me. And basically in DMs, she'd even poke fun about it. She would say, I keep replaying that moment nonstop. And she called that face reveal mistake yummy. Like, I was like, that waffle looks yummy. Not as yummy as that face reveal mistake. Now, I want you guys to come to your conclusions. You heard that audio. Her saying attracted to kids. What does that sound like to you? Someone being normal with kids? Or someone trying to take advantage of kids? But I'll leave you guys at that. But basically, I wasn't, believe it or not, despite all this, I wasn't even the closest person in her life. No. That, I don't want to say it's a right because it's disgusting, but no, that dishonor belongs
Thanks for the follow.
to another minor she groomed. They used to go by Blurry, but they go by Guts now. I'm gonna clarify here. If you know who Guts is, they asked not to be really involved in the situation, but I will speak for them because what Gray did to them is deplorable. Basically in December, literally like after my birthday, mind you, as soon as I turned 18, Gray messaged me that Guts cut her off, and that's all they mentioned. Guts cut Bright off, and Bright was crying about it because Guts snapped at them. When I tell you the kind of stuff that Bright was saying behind the scenes, hold on. I think I have a screenshot of it where she literally admitted to Guts, who was 14 at the time, 14 years old. She admitted to a 14-year-old Guts. I'll just grab the one screenshot because I don't want to waste too much time. But if you can show this on stream, if you can, is what Bright, 14-year-old. Bright literally admitted to a 14-year-old that she's attracted to younger people, including minors. And I don't know if I have the energy to grab the rest of the screenshots, but they're in my evidence folder. I have literally a whole evidence folder on her that I'm gonna spend the time updating tonight or tomorrow.
We don't really need to see like the all the evidence because I've already displayed it on stream.
Yeah.
So just go and talk about your experience from beginning to end. You left off when like she was like talking about like your accidental face reveal.
I know, like this. Hold on, let me speak to my mom real.
All right. But yeah, guys,
So-
there's the. Well, Mel, I guess you could say your thoughts so far, because I already know this story, so you can say
I
your thoughts
mean,
for what you think about for the time being.
there's certain things you just don't say to a minor. I mean, there's like, things you say like when you're trying to like, maybe someone has like, self image issues. I get like saying things to encourage them, but there's certain ways that you phrase that in a way that's not, objectifying or sexualizing the minors. And that clearly is not what they said. And also, I do want to quickly say what Nick pinned at the top there. For the record, guys, do not attack or harass anyone mentioned. We're not trying to stir a hate mob with this. What we're trying to do is make people aware.
Basically, not only that, but I'll just keep it short and concise. Bright also admitted to Guts that if they were 18, they were still 14, by the way. If they were 18, while Bright was like 29, 28, if they were 18, they would date them. But, and some transphobia and emotional manipulation behind the scenes is what led to Guts cutting off Bright. And from that point onward, I was the closest person in Bright's life. Okay. So during this time, Bright tried to convince me my parents are abusive. Now, I'm going to go on the record here, and I can just say this no filter since this isn't my channel. My parents are probably not going to watch this. My relationship with my parents is not perfect by any means. In fact, there are several things I hate my parents for. They support Trump, they're racist, transphobic, homophobic, all that jazz. And I hate them for that. However, to say they were abusive when I knew Bright, or even now, no. Like, okay, maybe there's stuff like when I was like 4, that one, well, it was more so discipline, but the way Bright tries to say my parents were abusive is not true. I am in no danger right now because of my parents. No, if anything, my parents coddle me and still treat me like I'm like 10 or something. They don't like neglect me or physically hurt me. If they did physically hurt me, I would have taken these screenshots in the video by now. And if I really was abused as badly as I was back then, with the conditioning Bright caused, you think there would have been screenshots or videos of said abuse. But that's not the worst they said. Bright wants to say my dad sexually assaulted me. She wants to say that. You want to know why? All because he touched my shoulder in a non-sexual way while he had no shirt on. And keep in mind, down here, it's like hot as hell. And like, yeah. And while he did that, he didn't say anything sexual. He didn't say anything weird or creepy. He literally just physically touched me how a family member would. And Gray wants to say I was sexually abused like that. No, I wasn't. I may hate my dad for a lot of things, but I still love him as family in a weird, familiar way. And I will clear the record and say my father did not essay me. But, yeah, another thing, this is continuing in the timeline. Another thing Gray says is that my dad threatened me with a knife. Now, okay, you guys can form your own opinions on this. I don't mind. A lot of people have their opinions on this. So, In January of 2022, I was in a VC with Bright and several other people. And I was laughing in the car, and my dad was driving the car. He was trying to get my attention. He wasn't getting my attention. So what he did was he took a pocket knife, not the sharp end before I even get into this, but the plastic end that could literally do physically no damage. He took that and lightly tapped my arm. But now, if he did this to me now, I would have been like, okay, Dad, maybe you don't have to get my attention with that, but you have my attention now. What is it? But considering the conditioning that Bright was putting me through, and she conditioned me to believe they were abusive by comparing my experiences with my parents just being strict to her experiences with her family. And like basically saying, oh, that's abuse. I should know. My family put me through that. That's how she convinced me my parents were abusive for about 2 to 3 years. But after that, basically, I started, with the mindset I had then, I started panicking. And everyone in the VC started panicking. And it made me feel like I was in danger when I wasn't. He didn't... Was he stupid when he did that? Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. But basically, she made me, with her mindset she instilled into me, that made me feel like I was in physical danger. And during that moment, Bright, while we were all panicking, admitted to me a month after I turned 18 that she loved me. Now, basically, I was like, okay, maybe I misheard something, but not even that long later, she pulled me into a private chat, a private VC, and basically said, again, hey, I love you. And I loved you while I was 17, but I waited. So now when you take that into context, with her calling me sweetie, darling, and saying I was cute while I was 17, with the context she was attracted to me while I was 17, that gives me full reason to believe I was groomed. And I didn't want to think that for the longest time until it was my friends. Oh, hi, Sonic. I'm sorry, my friends in the chat. It literally took my friends unraveling the conditioning she put into me for me to realize how fucked up that power dynamic was. But she said, yeah, that's not even where the worst of it happened. So fast forward to March. I get into more and more arguments with my parents because I started arguing with them because of what Bright made me think. And eventually, yeah, she's 30 in 2022, by the way. Basically, and I was just freshly 18. So basically, it got to the point where she invited me to live with her. And then I said yes, because she made me feel like I was in a dangerous home situation. And basically, I'm not getting into the whole gist of it, but like, I got scammed out on money, blah, blah, blah. But eventually in like March of 2022, I effectively moved in with Bright. But when they were there, because I developed feelings for her at that point, as much as I hate to admit it. While we were there, one of the first things she told me while we were waiting for the bus was, we're not going to enter a relationship yet. Despite this, and even though she said I would sleep on the couch, we would sleep in the same bed. She would basically cuddle me. She would pancake on top of me, which is essentially fucking lying down on me and stuff. You're the one who moved in with her. It was you. Yeah, that's me. Hi. She pancaked on top of me, like lying down on me. And on the last day we were together, I can't remember for the life of me if I consented to this or not. Like, I'm not gonna say it was SA. She's making up the bullshit lie that I'm saying that she essayed me, when no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you were fucking weird with me. She, in her childhood home, because this was at the point where my dad actually figured out where the hell I was. It was bringing me back home. In her childhood house, in her childhood room, well, last morning we were together, she physically cuddled with me in the bed. I still can't pinpoint what exactly I was feeling. I was feeling a lot of complicated feelings. But now that whenever I think about it, I just want to throw the hell up. But eventually, my dad brought me home, but she still wanted to fucking get me to live with her. She was trying to get me on Social Security so I could live with her. But yeah, eventually. And then this is the point where Nick's story intertwines with my story. Because same shit. Gray had Nick's content on her channel that she wasn't allowed to have, and she didn't credit him. So, of course, copyright strikes were issued. Now, here's the fun fact. Nick mentioned, like, Gray was streaming on a friend's channel. I was said friend. Yep, I was said friend streaming on like, I thought the stream was, like, lost media for the longest time, but apparently there's, like, an audio archive of it. So, basically, as much as I hate to say it, I gave Gray that platform. I am sorry, but but you want to know what happened after that stream? This is like in April, I think April, May. After that stream, Gray pulled me into a private BC, a DM call, and asked if we could date. Now, this was a point where I could not think straight. Shit was actively happening. And Gray was like crying during the whole thing. And I was mentally fucked at that point. I was at a point where I literally could not think for myself, because she literally conditioned me to not think for myself, but to think her thoughts. So I said yes, and a fresh 18-year-old Aster dated a fucking 30-year-old. So from that point, we dated, and, you know, that kind of stuff. She flirted with me, that stuff. And, like, I was asexual at the time, but a lot of stuff in, like, DMs and stuff like that kind of desensitized me to sex or sex jokes or stuff like that. But eventually it gets to a point where sometime, I can't remember, this was like 2022, 2023, where you guys may know this guy. I don't know, controversial topic, but Bright meets this guy named Rockstar Radio, and the two talk, they hit it off, and then Gray pulls me into, like, I think another call. I can't remember if we talked about this during, like, text or call. I have the whole DM logs, but I haven't checked through all of it yet. She asked me, I know you're asexual, but I need to relieve myself in one way. So can I have a one-night stand with him? She's basically asking me if she could fucking cheat on me. But I didn't know because this was my first relationship ever. And so I did not know that constitutes as cheating. But she worded it in a way like she needed this and this would satisfy her in a way I couldn't. So I used to say I didn't remember because like I was repressing all this stuff, but I actually said yes. But then, like, according to Rockstar, for some reason, Grace said no, but like, no, but let's do it anyway. But then their whole thing happened, and according to Rockstar, like, there's no like definitive proof of this, so take it with a grain of salt. But according to Rockstar, Gray actually did not respect the fact that I was asexual and is actually describing sexual activities she would do with me in like a bathtub or something. And like, oh, you just gotta wait for asexual people to not be asexual or something like that. But eventually that whole thing happened and like break cut Rockstar off that whole thing, and then we continue on as usual with the same stuff and everything. Now let's get to 2023, the year where everything goes to shit. Basically, this is at the point where I met my new friend group, and I myself was not like too keen on my own gender identity. Cause like I just was agender for the longest time, but for Gray only, because she said she'd have a problem sticking to they them. I made the exception that she can call me her girlfriend and use she her on me, even though back then I exclusively went by they them. But in 2023, I actually realized I'm transgender. Now, this isn't something that just like happened because I was getting mentally ill, blah, 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 OSD, DID, whatever. I felt like I was born in the wrong body ever since I was 5 years old. 5. So, yeah, basically for like a few days, I was with my friend group because I didn't know how Bright would react to it. So I was with my friends. I was like, hey, can you test out using he, they on me? And using the name false on me. I want to see how comfortable that makes me. And I actually enjoyed going by he, him. I really did. It actually made me feel satisfied with myself in a way I never really felt satisfied before. But then Bright DMs me, hey Star, what are your current pronouns? I'm like, oh shit, I didn't tell her yet. So I was like, he, they. I'm sorry, and I apologize for it. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. But a lot of stuff's been going on, especially with my mental health, because it was not doing the best at that time. And all that. Um Oh yeah, what Jordan said. If anyone gets uncomfortable at any point, I'm not forcing you to stay. Please feel free to take care of yourself and look after yourself. But I basically apologize for not telling her sooner. But then she outright told me, and she dated guys in the past, by the way. Before I state this, she dated men in the past. She said if I was a trans man, she wouldn't date me. and she wouldn't really be able to see me as a trans man. And that broke me. That completely fucking broke me. Because this was the person I was depending on for 2 fucking years. And I was feeling like I was letting them down because of my own gender identity. So I held my tongue and didn't fully transition for her sake. And then she also told me I needed to start sticking up for myself against my parents, even though there was nothing to really fucking stick up for. They weren't. They were only like mad at me, but that's because I was saying shit first. But yeah, and I started to work on my mental health. So I was taking some time to myself, you know, as one person would do. Eventually, at like summer, fall of 2023, Bright messages me saying she can't do the relationship anymore and that she's hurt that I never told her I was trans and that I wasn't working on my mental health enough. So I told her, I understand. It hurts, but I completely understand. So basically, from that point, I was like, okay, I need to work on myself mentally. So I started going to a therapist. I started seeing psychiatrists. Or I don't know if I started seeing my psychiatrist yet, actually. But I was looking into finding one because of the whole SSI thing Grace tried to get me on. My insurance was practically fucked, so that was a problem for a while. Basically, and part of working on myself, because the Starverse channel at the time was taking a massive toll on my mental health, I deleted it. And this was the only time she messaged me in the breakup period. That wasn't a breakup message. She's like, why did you delete the channel? I'm like, I want to focus on my mental health. That's why. And she's like, okay, I'll give you one more chance to work on yourself. And I was like, okay. So I did. I was working on myself. I was actually getting better, actually. But not even a few days later after I deleted the channel, she said, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. I'm still mad you didn't tell me that you were trans. And you're not communicating with me. Even though she's the one that sets up the system that she always has to be the one to message first. And basically, that broke me. If I wasn't already broken by then, that completely broke me. I was in a massive, massive depressive slump. I almost considered taking my own life then and there because Bright made me feel like I depended on her. And then more after that, she gets me out of the server. Is like, I don't trust you. You did not tell me you were trans. I don't trust you. Good luck. At that point, I don't really know. I don't want to say on record
Thanks
I
for the
have
follow.
DID or OSDD until I get a diagnosis. And even then, I don't know if I want to make it public. But one of my headmates basically went off on her and was like, never contact us again and never talk about us again, and blocked her everywhere. And I thought that was it. And I thought everything was my fault for the longest time. So if any of the drama didn't happen, that's where the story would end. But nope. Fast forward to 2024. I am in a huge ass depressive, like, well, I was getting better from before, but I was still like depressed, not really doing mentally well because of how she affected me. Until I get reached out by someone by the name of Mansion Master. And he asked, "Hey, do you know who Uni is?" And I was like, "Okay, wow, yeah, that's a whole can of worms. I can tell you all about it." Basically, Mansion pulled me into a group chat with Rockstar, and Mansion showed me the stuff that Gray was saying in her server. One screenshot, aside from like shit talking, like, "Oh, Star's so weak. I'm so happy I broke up with them." Aside from that stuff, one screenshot that I noticed, and this was something Melodia Valentine agreed with, by the way. We'll get into what her supporters are doing against me later, but Grace said, word for word, I went by the name False then, too, and I was fully Hive because I didn't have someone telling me what I should and shouldn't be. They go by False now, which I am not obligated to follow. Star will always stick with me. This is just the start of the transphobia, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between and outside of the spectrum. This is just the beginning. And basically, and then when Rockstar told me what Grace said about me, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I was taken advantage of in one way or another. I didn't come to the full conclusion that I was groomed yet, but I was just like, okay, no, I need to speak out about this. So that's when Mansion's video, Uni discussing Creep and a Liar, came out. Basically, I spoke in that video, Rockstar spoke in that video. We said our piece, but keep in mind, I didn't say Gray was a predator yet. I was just saying how she treated me. But then this whole thing led to, if some of y'all been keeping up, you know this as the plate smashing video, that whole ordeal. That live stream happened, and she said in that live stream, "I will never respect you by your pronouns or your new name." She just reiterated she's going to continue to be fucking transphobic towards me. And during that stream, she guilt tripped me. She was like, "I broke the law for you," and guilt tripped me that I was spitting in her face after everything she did for me. And this was a point where I was still manipulated. So I was like, did I mess up? And then I'm not getting into too much detail, but then the whole Celestios video on Rockstar comes out, or contradicting opinions on that. But instead of maybe talking about Rockstar, Bright uses that video as a fucking weapon against me. And saying I was a hypocrite and a predator supporter, even though I had no idea of the supposed actions Rockstar did. And this caused me to break down, have a mental breakdown in the comments, in the post. And there's screenshots from her server. Her and Random made fun of me for having a mental breakdown because of this. And I cried so loud. My mom came in. And this is where I realized they were right about her. They were right. And I hugged her hard because I didn't want to believe the stuff they were saying about her for the longest time. But yeah, fuck, I'm about to cry. Yeah.
Hey, if you need a moment to breathe, you can.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Hmm?
Okay.
I know it's concerning if I say a lot of this stuff desensitized me to crying, but it is what it is. But basically, I stepped down because she effectively silenced me back in 2024. And I thought for the longest time that was it. And this is behind the scenes where I was in a group chat with my friends. I was like, and like we were talking about life stuff like that. I was like, Aster, weren't you groomed by? They were like, Aster, weren't you groomed by somebody? And like, I was like, I don't know if I was groomed per se. And so they're like, okay, Aster, start from the beginning. Go tat for tat of your relationship with this person. And I was like, okay, so I knew her while I was 17. I turned 18 and then we started dating. And then they stopped me right there and they're like, okay, Aster, you might have been groomed. I was like, huh? So, but I didn't want to make a huge accusation like that. So basically, I, in the background, was just like fucking researching this stuff. And everything she did towards me, everything she said and did and got me to do, winds up with the behavior of grooming a child and grooming someone in general. Because, believe it or not, grooming doesn't just apply to children, it could apply to other people as like literally conditioning to do something or to do a certain act. That's what it is. But I was like, okay, I know it's groomed, but I don't have that much on me. I don't know what I can do here. She already silenced me and painted me as a predator defender. I don't know what I could do here. Fast forward to August of 2025. My mom was actually getting surgery to remove the cancerous portion of her colon. So I was worried about that. So, but it was supposed to be the day where like people are like boycotting YouTube because, you know, the AI verification thing. But I accidentally clicked my mentions and all of this probably wouldn't have happened or wouldn't have happened as soon as it did if I didn't do that one accident. But I looked and I got a ping from Right on her Absidy channel. She's like, hey, beware this guy named Zexio. He is a human trafficker. You can take steps here to block him from your Discord server. I know we may not have ended off on the best foot, but I still love the person I fell in love with back then. I was just going to write this off as blah, blah, blah. But by the way, I actually tried to do research on like if Zexio is actually a human trafficker. Nothing. I have found nothing that he's a human trafficker. Someone actually, Wendy actually told me that Zexio actually showed him his criminal record. There was nothing of human trafficking on there. You'd think someone wouldn't be online if they were actually, trafficking people. But, yeah. It wasn't until I was about to write this off as her not respecting my fucking boundaries until I got another mention from this individual called Miles the Great Pony, aka Miles was here. Now, I need to clarify, yes, I am fully aware of the allegations against Miles. I have cut off Miles. I do not support what Miles did, and I never wish to speak to him again. Despite what bullshit Gray and her camp are making up, I am not in support of Miles by any means. And if anything, he fucking lied to me about the severity of his actions, and I'm pretty pissed off about that. So, yeah, just putting that out there. Miles pings me saying, You should look at this. And it was the Maya call where Gray admitted she was attracted to children. And that was enough for me to go, that's it. I'm not going to be manipulated and pushed around by this person that groomed me anymore. So, literally, while I was in the hospital waiting for my mom to recover, I edited the whole video. I was groomed by Fleetway Supersonic VA / Absidy 92. I put that whole thing together, and it's kind of rushed, but I put that out there, and I really didn't expect much of it. But when I put that video out there, and then the amount of people who came forward to me with their own experiences with Bright, I was like, holy shit. It's not just me. She fucked over God knows how many people. And that's how I also figured out she was in the room with Yoshizilla while he was describing Miner's cup size. And by the way, we also found evidence that Bright was attracted to Yoshi while he was a minor, so there's that too. But I'm not gonna speak too much on that. But this is the start of Gray's whole harassment campaign against me. She dead named me to hell and back, misgendered me from hell and back, threatened that I owed people money, and said I would not survive the next 10 years. And she even gaslit her audience. Like, hey, without like the full context. Hey, is calling people sweetie darling grooming? She did not provide the full context at all. And painted it as if, oh, I only did this stuff while they were 18. It's not grooming. That kind of stuff. And eventually I was like, tired. I was fighting back against her because this was a point where I was like, I'm done sitting down and I'm tired of being pushed around. Because my friend actually brought this up to me. Like, Aster, you don't speak up for yourself. You kind of need to do that, man. And I was like, okay. I was done being like pushed around like that. And then Sexio eventually copyright structure channel. Like, I don't agree with the second strikes, but considering the reason for the first strikes, Gray shouldn't even be on YouTube right now, so whatever. But eventually this is where Random gets involved and said, everyone who caused this can go to hell. And that caused me to respond like, okay, if you're dead, like, I was concerned for Random's safety for the longest time. But I was like, look, if you want to continue supporting them, go ahead, be my guest and stay on that sinking ship you're on. Oh boy, do I regret saying that, because this prompted Random to make a whole ass defamatory Google Doc on me in defense of Bright. And it was called Statement Against Spiralment. And in that document, they went over how Bright is apparently not a predator, even though they've seen all the evidence, heard all the evidence, all that jazz. And they don't. They said they see nothing wrong with it. So they did that. So I tried to fight back against the document. They try to paint me as a predator supporter. They even went as far as to accuse me of running a pedo ring. So I was like, no, you're just saying shit. And she continued to, Gray and Random, she and they continue to, if I misgender Random by any point, please know I'm trying not to be transphobic or queerphobic or whatever. literally fucking, but it's hypocritical because random allows other people to call them she, her, but I'm trying my best not to be a fucking bigot like Bright is. I know there's clips of me doing that in the past, but that came from a place of anger. I'm not gonna excuse myself on that, but you'll see why I was angry in a second, but yeah. Basically, every time I tried to respond back, Random would continue to update the doc with more and more defamatory statements. They literally called me ableist for telling Bright to get a fucking job other than YouTube. Which, she didn't work, by the way. There's screenshots of her before this whole situation admitting she applied for Target. So, she's a fucking hypocrite for saying she cannot work when she literally applied for a fucking job application. But that whole thing happened. And eventually, I thought Bright was off the internet, but nope. Turns out one of their accounts didn't get banned. It's called the Fleetway Vault. And they pinged me on that. And basically said, guilt tripped me, was transphobic towards me. And she said, I do not deserve validation or happiness. That post, along with random smear campaign, almost caused me to attempt on my own life again. Because this was at a point where I was recovering from an attempt that caused me to almost attempt again. I was this. You could see if my camera was on, you could see how close my fingers are to each other right now. I was this close to attempting again. But I didn't. I'm still here. And I actually talked about it with a friend of mine. And this also caused me, her constant misgendering and dead naming also caused me massive dysphoria to the point where I consider detransitioning. And she's caught, I'm not going to reiterate it throughout the rest of the story, but she's made me consider detransitioning multiple times because of her fucking transphobia towards me and her cult's transphobia towards me. But my friend told me something that I still I still take by heart to this day. They told me, okay, that's your decision, not hers, but if that's something you want to do, that's your decision. And then it clicked on me that she was trying to change my identity to fit her narrative. So I told her off. I let people know that she was still on the fucking internet. But then it fucking caused Random to say I was still harassing her, but she was the one that fucking harassed me first. And then I tried to get her like exposed on Tumblr, but that really didn't fucking go anywhere. But for the past 9 months, it has been a constant back and forth, because even with all the fucking evidence against her, she won't quit. If anything, she's gotten worse. So, in October, November, I was made aware of this by Mansion because he had a spy in the server. I was made aware that in an attempt to silence me, because during all this, she was trying to get the money to fucking get a lawyer to sue all her haters, by the way. She filed a restraining order against me to try and legally silence me about everything she put me through. So I held my tongue. I couldn't say anything, but I did let the court know that I would be there because this was bullshit. And then they tried to accuse me of having the spy in there when I had nothing to do with it. So then Azrael, Mansion, and they came up with like a whole plan to like make them think the spy was sent by me, but it was actually sent by Mansion and Azriel, just to kind of like catch them in their aha moment. But meh. But I showed up to the court hearing. I brought one of my closest friends along, and someone else as witnesses, because I did not feel safe being in a courtroom with her alone. I know it was virtual, but I did not feel safe alone. Now, what Bright is trying to say is that I coerced this person who was supposedly still a minor into the courtroom, but this person was 18, a full-grown adult, and I asked them beforehand, because they were a victim of her shit too. Hey, are you okay with doing this? I completely understand if you do not want to, but are you okay with helping me as a witness for her behavior? And they said yes. If anything, Bright tried to manipulate them in the courtroom, and I got extremely defensive about that. So, that whole thing happened, and then Bright tried to accuse me of breaking the restraining order, even though I didn't contact her or speak to her that entire moment I knew about it. The judge took one good look at like only her evidence. None of my evidence made it there in time, but only her evidence. I was like, I really do not see a reason for a restraining order. Writing a mean tweet does not constitute for a restraining order. And this is like family stuff. And she came to a family court over stuff that happened online. But the crazy part is, even though the whole evidence of her grooming me and Guts wasn't shown, the judge said, she's trying to say the judge, a family judge, mind you, cleared her of all grooming allegations. When that's not true. Especially if you take a look at the more recent shit, that is absolutely not true. So, that whole thing happened. There is no restraining order. So, and I finally fucking revealed the shit she was trying to pull. And, yeah. But, that's where it gets worse, because this is the moment she starts doxing my legal name, which I don't put publicly anywhere. Anywhere. As she started doxing my legal name publicly. And then, eventually, you might have seen this channel, but she made the Justice for the Fleetway Community channel. In her words, from what was found in the server, this is the channel she was going to use to, quote unquote, put me in my place. So, in that video, she tried to accuse Zexio of human trafficking again with, like, no evidence. And she lied about how I was in the courtroom and said I treated it like a slumber party, when I treated the court case as seriously as I could. But I will admit I was a little unprofessional, but that's because I never had to go to court before, because I, unlike this bitch, I actually obey the fucking law. But she made her little what happened to my Fleetway Supersonic channel and that shit. And ever since that, she has made constant post after post after post after post on that channel, harassing me, dead naming me, being transphobic towards me, all that shit. And she said, whether you like it or not, I'm coming back. So she was gonna come back and continue to fucking take advantage of minors. So, it was just like back and forth, blah blah blah. I've had to deal with the shit. And then eventually I come out with a video of the continuous atrocities of Fleetway VA official. And I basically listed off everything she was doing. The pedophilia, her admitting she was attracted to kids, the transphobia, doxing, dead naming, and another thing. Because I already explained it. My mother had cancer. She's fortunately cancer-free now. But there was a leaked call where Grace said she was happy my mother got cancer. So, I was pretty pissed off about that. Yeah. So that was intended to be the final video. Hopefully nail in the coffin, blah, blah, blah. Nope. She kept going and going and going and going with her fucking false allegations against me. She tried to paint me as a predator supporter for talking to Tom the dog, and Miles went, I didn't even know Tom was Tom. He was going under a different name, Forge. But as soon as I realized it was him, I was like, yeah, no, fuck this guy. I'm not talking to him. And I already explained with Miles. He lied to me about the severity of his actions. I'm mad about that. I fucking hate myself for saying, like, maybe he's trying to change, but no, he is not. But I'm not in contact with Miles. And basically, and they're trying to say, like, they're trying to paint Rockstar as more predatory than he is, so they try to paint me as a supporter of his actions. When I've said multiple times, I don't support what he did. And even then, and like, I don't support what he did. Just because I talk with him on a few streams, absolutely does not mean I endorse his actions. This is an argument this cult fucking uses all the time. Guilt by association. They will go after you if you're associated with anyone that they hate in any way, shape, or form. But she continued with the doxing and everything. She doxed my full fucking name in her server with Random's little document on supposed testimony. So my full name's been doxed because of her. My city and my state have been doxed because of her. I am afraid she's going to do more, but I will very much let it be known if my full address is leaked. I will be contacting the police on the matter. I won't even like point it out. As soon as I hear that she leaks my address, cops will be called. Not to say the police have already not been contacted because of the NSFW in the server, the cops have been contacted. But yeah, and this is where Wendigo comes into the story. Wendy actually found my video and asked if he could interview me, and I was like, yes. He wanted both sides actually, because this was a third party, and I explained my things. He tried to get Gray's side, but what Bright said was like, oh, I can't tell you my side of things until you fully believe me. It's like, that's not how this works. They need to hear both sides. That's not how it works. But, yeah. Basically, that's when Wendy starts streaming on Bright. All that stuff. And basically, more and more streams happen. Learned after that to screenshot everything. Yes, a lot of things have been screenshotted, archived. Any post she makes has been archived. Basically, and I went like by the transphobia absolutely continued after that, because like I went by something close to my legal name at that point, but they were using that name as an excuse to like quote unquote not be transphobic. But the thing is, they still called me by she, her, so they absolutely fucking were being transphobic, so I stopped going by it. And they still dox me, so whatever. You can go on our Justice for My Community channel or my channel, all the posts, and just see how fucking frequently she does it, how fucking frequently she harasses me. But yeah, basically, this is at another point. Gray tried to manipulate another minor, Alias Azure, into making a video on the situation. So Wendy actually reached out to Alios. They manipulated the shit out of Alios and basically Random, because I will be bringing up Random a lot on because they're just as fucking guilty as Sprite is at this point. Random basically said, Aster made me suicidal. Now keep in mind, like, I know I said Gray and Random made me suicidal, but keep in mind, I was not actively harassing Random. I was not telling Random to do it. I wasn't encouraging Random to do it. I was basically telling them, stop supporting a predator. And I was basically only responding to stuff they said first. Who's Random? Random the Bat. So back in November after the court case, Random said they were suicidal because of that. But I didn't address it because that's not really my fucking thing. Nor was that really my fault. Nor was I actively causing that. But basically, Random was like, oh, think about how they made me feel and stuff like that. But then Alios actually switched sides after that and came on an interview with Wendy. And Alios actually had a link to the server. Wendy got into the server for 5 minutes. And the shit we found in there, not just the manipulation, but Random was a fucking performative trans ally. They wanted to call me one for quote unquote associating with Miles. They were fucking dead naming me and misgendering me behind the scenes and making up shit about me. And I called that out. And this is the point. Random makes a whole fucking video saying I'm going to kill myself, and if I kill myself, these are the people responsible, and I was the first fucking name listed there, along with so many other people supposedly responsible. And this is a point, I actually took this seriously. I literally asked on stream, is there any way we could please check to make sure they're okay and they don't do this? But not even 24 hours later, I was sleeping, hoping to God they didn't do it. Not even 24 hours later, they pulled the video and said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to post that. I was not in the right state of mind. By the way, Aster, it's your fault if I kill myself. And I was pissed off. And I was like, okay, that's suicide bait. Because, believe it or not, I've dealt with that kind of shit before. And then Gray's like, no, dead name, no, we didn't beat you. You are a narcissist for thinking that. Get the fuck off the internet. Or no, keep up your shit. I'm gonna continue harassing you. And I called them out on this. And they also figured out, Random said they were only gonna update their doc if I responded back. No. They updated it when I didn't even fucking acknowledge them and said, okay, maybe I'm gonna keep them out of stuff. So they don't, kill themselves. But nope, they jump back in anyway. This is a pattern you're going to notice with Random a lot. Random will jump to Gray's defense no matter what. And even if they're not involved. But basically, I was mad. A lot of us were mad. And I was at that point, okay, that's it. If they fucking pull this shit again, because this was twice now, if they pull this shit again, I'm not believing it. I know that sounds harsh, but they fucking played with my mind and my emotions twice because of this. I'm not gonna do that a third. I'm not gonna fall for that a third time. So Gray continues to post on her Justice for the Fleetway community channel, blah blah blah, all that shit. And then eventually, Nick reveals the revelation of the shower audio existing, and I posted that to my audience. Censored, by the way. Absolutely censored to hell and back, by the way. Because I know there are some people under 18 in my audience. I even gave a warning. Hey, even though it's censored, this is going to be some disgusting shit. Please, if you're uncomfortable with that, skip to this timestamp because I don't want to make people uncomfortable. So I revealed that. Hopefully that'd be the fucking end of it all. Nope. She continues to dox me and accuses me of, how do I word this without outright saying the word? Revenge corn. She accused me of that when it wasn't even audio of her, but of Fleetway, the 17-year-old Fleetway. It's like something I haven't mentioned, but is relevant this whole time. She deadass treats Fleetway like he's a real person. There's literally an audio recording and screenshots of her talking to herself as Fleetway. So, no, that's not revenge corn. That's you coming up with an excuse to call it revenge corn. Plus, she's the one that literally suggested it. So, yeah. It gets worse from there. I find out later she made a whole fuck spiralment server to stalk me, shit talk me. She encouraged people wishing the worst and practically wishing death upon me. All that shit in that server. Basically, she was doing anything to get me off the internet and silence me. And I'm going to list people off here. And these are all the people, including a few others,
Thanks for the follow,
that are responsible for assisting a child predator and silencing their grooming victim. Random the Bat, Melodia Valentine, Fernando/FGR/official Fernando Gonzalez Lego, Cheryl Cold Keys the Hedgehog, Akina the Sexy Spider Demon, Yatama Kirin, Yoromi Saga, Isaac Rooks/Rooks Reviews, Gaming Nerdy Dragon /Local Weeb /Smoky Angel 101, Movie Shadow the Floof /Movie Sonic the Floof, The Foreshadowed Being, The 2011X, Fleetway Tales /Pepper the Fennec. I really don't know if those two are the same person, but seems like it from what we got. Fleetway Shadow, Colossus YT, Love Hot Food /Kenny the Unlucky, Crush 40 Legacy Gamer, Hearth the Wolf, Warped the Wolf, Phoenix/Solstice, Jalen06, and Infinite Devil Whitlock. Not only were a good handful of people in that server assisting her, but these people actively defend her pedophilic actions and actively engage in the transphobia, harassment, doxing, and death wishing that she fucking normalizes. be wary of all these people. All of these people are shills in a pedophile's cult. But once I figured out that all these people were trying this, I called them out. And you might be like, wait, isn't Yoromi Saga like the Rockstar victim? Gray admitted herself that Yoromi is a friend and that she's actively working with Yoromi to silence more people. So, let me ask you people this. And I'm pretty dead ass sure with the stuff we found on the server, she's still doing this shit. Let me ask you this. Is taking your community, which you treat like your followers in a cult together, to harass someone speaking out against allegations that have concrete proof against the person, and then that person normalizing harassment, death threats, and all that shit, and transphobia by saying, I don't believe you're trans towards that person? Is that really justice? Is that really justice for a community? Or is that people enacting on a sick fucking revenge plot? Because I don't think that's justice. And you can look on her Justice for My Community page right now. All of her harassment posts are still up. They violate TOS. They violate everything. She shouldn't even be on YouTube right now. She shouldn't. This is the second time she's evaded copyright strikes and copyright ban. And she is going to continue to enact her sick fucking revenge plot on me and everyone else. They even made horrid posts towards the other victims with Corin and Quant. Random made this whole fucking post of like, our friends betrayed us. And Gray told those people who are victims of her to rot. To rot. And she's still doing this. It's been 9 months. And she's still doing this. She's not taking accountability. And even though she knows the police have been contacted, she's not admitting to anything. She's not backing down. She's going to continue to do worse and worse things to enact quote unquote justice, when in reality, it's revenge. Petty revenge. I'm not going to say outright report, though I'm not going to be against it. I'm not going to say outright report because she's actually mass reported people in the past. But take into consideration the amount of harassment, doxing, transphobia, and all that shit she does on her Justice for My Community channel on a daily basis. Do you really think a channel like that should be up on YouTube? No, it shouldn't. Now, Gray is hyping up this mega video, which is probably going to dox more stuff and make up more defamatory lies on a lot of people. And I mean a lot. So, yeah, that's probably going to happen at this point. That's going to happen. Let me grab it. Nick, if you could pull this channel on stream.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that, like, is that the story?
That should be the whole story, but there's one more thing I'd like to kind of reveal. And let me send the stuff in the group chat.
Alright.
Kind of solidify it. I can't show everything.
Because I've already expressed my thoughts about everything. I want to make sure
there's one more
since
thing.
Now, you know, people like Mel and everyone in the chat, they can give their thoughts about what you've said. But what is this?
Yeah, and they also try to steal my Fleetway Supersonic, by the way. I'll explain it. Just pull it up. Pull up that channel.
Yeah, there's nothing on it.
This channel, I know. Nothing on it yet. this channel, known as Silver Baron, we've learned from OSINT searches, which basically you take someone's email and then you trace it back to whatever socials they have. And from a few inside information that we have, that this account is owned by Random the Bat. And what Random the Bat intends to do with this account is go after Nick as an anonymous user, so they cannot be harassed for it. Because if they do, they're just going to bring up their fucking kidney disease. But really, what does kidney disease have to do with fucking predator allegations? Nothing. But they intend to use this account to make a defamatory video on Nick. So, yep. And as you can see from those comments, they were not posted that long after. So what we're assuming is Random just quickly switched the fucking accounts.
Yeah, in a sense, they're basically talking to themselves.
That's my piece. I will be having other videos specifically on Random, Yoromi, that whole fucking cult. Like Fernanda made a fucking Mother's Day letter that's like, Gray, you're my mom, and that's like, Fernando's still a minor, and that's disgusting, but, ugh. But, yeah. These people will not back down unless action is taken. Do with that info what you will.
Oh, green.
Yeah, I know. But,
I think I upset my cat. He just got off the bed. No.
Yeah, well, Mel's bird is observing everything.
Yes, my bird is very noisy.
I really want to thank you for the opportunity to come on here, Nick, to speak about everything. I really do.
Yeah, and also thank Mel, too. They're also here, too. So there's that.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of, Mel, you want to share your thoughts about what the victim in question here said?
I mean, genuinely hearing your story, like, it broke my heart hearing what you've gone through at the hands of this individual. Like, it's very clear that you were manipulated, you were forced to hide your true self, and you are continuously being treated poorly, and that's putting it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that by you being able to tell your story here with us tonight, that action can actually be, taken, and this can be the start of the final chapter of this whole drama. And you can finally be free of this and be free to just be your authentic self without the worry of this individual constantly coming after you.
Yeah. Because really the internet's the only place I can actually be myself. It just kind of sucks that she's normalizing, just invalidating my fucking identity.
Well, you know that, well, you mentioned earlier in the story that, like, you almost took the final choice in life, as I tend to put it. And I, for one, am so glad that you didn't and that you keep pushing forward. It takes real strength to go through a situation like this and still continue to push forward. So thank you for continuing to hold that strength in your own self.
Yeah.
Because it is something truly impressive.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're now able to surround yourself with people who do see you for who you are, treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. And, well, here's that you can only go up from this point. And I know that a lot of people, especially after hearing your story, are rooting for you.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah. I actually never really expected this many people to root for me. And I don't know, I almost kind of feel guilty about it, but I know I shouldn't, but I really thought all of this was just gonna go under the radar for the longest time. But I really actually do appreciate all the support from people, and I appreciate all the other people who shared their stories with me, because it actually told me I wasn't crazy for thinking I was used. I'm not alone in this. And, right, if you're watching this, just admit it's over. You're not gonna come back peacefully on your channel. None of you are after supporting a child predator. It's over. Just admit it's over before you do something that's gonna land you in prison sooner. Because trust me when I say a lot, and I mean a lot of people have seen your actions now, and no bullshit excuse is going to cover them up this time. Nothing is going to cover up how much you've hurt people, the porn you've sent around minors, all that shit. Nothing is going to cover that up. So just, for your own sake, not even for everyone else, for your own sake, get off the internet. I genuinely mean get off the internet before things happen that genuinely ruin your life. Not to say that it's not already been ruined by your own actions. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, I can also say the same thing when it comes to her, you know, wanting to steal my stuff. You know, I mean, what are you really hoping to accomplish when it comes to stealing my stuff? What are you honestly hoping to accomplish?
let my cat out really quickly. He's been waiting.
Huh?
Gotta take care of the cat.
Oh. Like honestly, like what are you hoping to gain out of all this? What are you hoping to achieve? Like it's blatantly clear that you hold no regrets for anything that you've done, to anything that you've done to other people, and all the people that you've manipulated and abused, and not to mention that you have the nerve to accuse me of things that you yourself has done. You want to accuse me of being anti-LGBT? Look what you did to Aster. You want to accuse me of being you want to accuse me of being a hypocrite. Well, I'm only a hypocrite emotionally. But you, on the other hand, you're willing to like think that it's okay for you to sexualize a character that you deemed as a child, but also like just flat out making all these like ideas that are just innuendos about your character. Like, you're one of those people that's like, oh, it's okay for me to do it, but it's not okay when others do it. That makes you a hypocrite. A massive hypocrite. But oh, you want to accuse, you know, people like myself, Aster, and a lot of other people of being Preds, but you're now one yourself. You were exposed. You were called out on it. You even said how in the courtroom the judge basically sided with you. No, they did not. Because from what I heard, the judge laughed at you. They laughed at you. That's what I heard.
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh yeah,
he
and
absolutely
also,
did.
And also, you like to also say on your channel a lot that, oh, this person did this, that, and the other, but I don't have evidence of it, so just take my fucking word for it. That's all you say. Oh, just take my word for it. Just take my word for it. Oh, these people doxed me. I'll just take my word for it. Oh, these people are groomers. Oh, just take my word for it. Uni, you are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. So much so that you have even lowered yourself.
She absolutely has.
But yeah, like, honestly, that's really all I gotta say on everything that has transpired. But Mel, do you have anything you want to say to
My final
Yumi
thing
herself?
my final thing on this is, while I myself not have gone directly through these events, I don't have the same connection to this individual that the two of you have. But when you hear these sorts of events, you can't just let things slide. There are many things that, like, there are many times, like in a professional setting, where you may not like everyone you work with, but you still have to be, responsible and just treat them like a person and keep in your lane. But it's times like these where you have to speak up, because this isn't a matter of professionalism. This is a matter of danger. Like, this is a safety issue. And my hope is that Uni, Gray, right, this individual gets the help that she needs, because there are a lot of issues here. There are a lot of things. You do not wish death upon others. You do not say, oh, I'm glad your relative got cancer. You don't try, like, Nick, you asked, what is the purpose of Steel versus Sonic and trying to make you. My whole thing is, it's most likely to hurt you. Just plain and simple. And to have such a vitriolic hate to so many individuals around you, I really hope that you get the help needed to grow past that hate and to become a far better person than you are currently. It is unfortunate that we have to be here tonight to talk about this. It's unfortunate that this situation has happened. But since it's happened, we can't keep quiet about it. We can't just let it slide. If an individual like this is set to come back, then without harassing this individual, we have to find a way to just put a roadblock to make sure that instead of taking the path of returning, they take the path of getting help. instead.
Yeah.
I hope she gets the help this time, because apparently last time she talked with the therapist about interacting with minors, and the therapist said, hey, that's not normal. She disregarded that. So I'm really hoping this time she doesn't, before she ends up with legal charges or in prison or worse.
Mm-hmm. And once again, Aster, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you for, as many times as you've been silenced, thank you for continuing to choose to speak up and take a stand. Because it's when victims like you choose to continue to speak out, even against the odds, that's when action can actually be taken.
I'm just happy my story finally kind of opened up the floodgates to people realizing how much of a shitty person she is.
Yeah. Let's hope that this is enough. But anyway.
And until then, we'll support each other. We will push through this together, because at times like these, it's very important to remember that none of us are alone. You just have to find the people who will stand with you.
This is something I say to my audience all the time. Like, don't let anyone else, and I mean anyone else, define who you are. Just stick to your truest self. And that's the philosophy I live by.
A good one to have with you.
Yeah.
I know some people, especially that group, might not like it. But this is, I mean, aside from like the angry outbursts, this is who I am. This is who I am, will be, for as long as I live. And no amount of denying who I am, no amount of denying my identity will erase that.
And you shouldn't be anyone but yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway. So yeah, guys. That's basically it for us. We're gonna head out now. I hope that this at least turns some heads away from Uni for everything that she's done to me, to my friends, especially to Aster. In fact, actually, because of the situation that happened, I took the time to comment on Aster's video about Uni, and that's how we basically became friends.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, so thank you all so much for watching. Go support Mel, especially go support Aster. They go by Spiralment on YouTube. Go check out their channel. I'll link it. I'll link their channels in the description of this stream after we wrap up. But yeah. Oh, and also one other thing. I'm also gonna link a Google document about Uni's behavior and everything like that. So you guys will be able to see that. I'm gonna link that in the description of this stream itself once we go off the air, and you'll have everything that you need. It's 400 pages, but be careful. Though I suggest that if you're a minor yourself, I don't recommend looking at it, because there could be some
I was about to say there is some really bad
Yeah.
stuff in there. So if you're under 18, I would even though it's censored, I would highly, highly, highly suggest if you're a minor not to scroll through it.
Yeah.
I'll probably work on making a safe for work version in some capacity, maybe, but I don't know. It's just probably gonna say I'm exposing kids to shit again, but whatever.
Yeah.
We already exposed kids to that shit herself. She cannot be talking.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, so thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Later.
And all of you take care of yourselves as well, especially
Yes.
after hearing stuff like this. Take moments to take care of yourself and remember to stay strong even in the worst of times.
And also, my deepest condolences to all the victims that were hurt by her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, later, guys.